VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio, also YouTube at VSiN Live. We say hi, Isaiah, back in New York City, UC Technical Director, my buddy Ryan Smith in Las Vegas, Dustin Swedelson. I'm Patrick Mocker. As we welcome you in to the program, and we've got a lot to do as we did yesterday. You've got the second four of the Sweet 16 matchups, of course, opening day, Major League Baseball yesterday. We've got a bunch, of course, mentioned during the program, starting during the program, so we'll be betting all of those. Obviously, big news out of the NBA, Taylor Jenkins, who nobody's ever heard of. He did a good job over the past few years with the Grizzlies. Look, he lost the power struggle with Ja Morant. Like, there was no other way to go. Those 9 games left in the season was ass. They're a game and a half. The Memphis Grizzlies. So obviously it's not anything to do with production or anything to do with wins and losses. This is a power struggle. My assumption is Ja doesn't get out as of that he's been. Oh, he doesn't get the benefit of the doubt. Whether it's within the team, within the front office, obviously Taylor Jenkins broke somebody the wrong way. This is an absolute game changer, almost like the Kevin Lillard situation. And by the way, I'm raw dogging the program tonight because I don't really have a computer. You know, that's like jumping on a plane, going from LA
City, not having any type of electronics. You don't have a book, you don't have a paper, you don't have anything. You're just staring at the seat in front of you, raw dogging. And that's what I'm going to do for 3 hours as far as the program today. So I'm going to rely heavily on the big guy. Get him out of his head and get him right on his computer. He'll have the lines, and we're not talking expressways. All right, this is not Dwight Eisenhower. We are talking betting. We are talking. Now, I heard Tori talking about the women's Sweet 16. I can't get into it. I'm not chauvinistic. I don't have the bandwidth. And now I don't have a computer. So that's a bigger issue. We've got Thomas Gable coming up in just a bit, live from the Borgata. And we got Matt McCall. He can't get off the show. Former coach at Chattanooga, UMass, Matt McCall, now field of 68. He's going to join us as we say hi to the big guy because we have a game to bet here coming up between, of course, Ole Miss and Michigan State. Dustin Swedelson, welcome to the program.
I mean, even if you wanted to watch the women's basketball tournament, you don't have the necessary screens at this point to pull up that game. Also, on Taylor Jenkins, you said he rubbed someone the wrong way. Is that the same way Ime Udoka rubbed someone the wrong way up in Boston? Is that why Taylor Jenkins is out in Memphis?
It could be a little HR violation. We don't know anything. That would just be pure speculation.
Yes.
Let's set up the number with Ole Miss and Michigan State. If you're betting Chris Beard against Tom Izzo, you've got another. I know you're obsessed with Chris Beard. Whatever. Tom Izzo, that's the man. What do you got?
So Sparty laying 3 and a hook right now. That total is 144.5. Money line wise, plus 160 on the Rebs, minus 192 when it comes to Michigan State. Ole Miss's first Sweet 16 since 01, Patrick. Your boy, Tom Izzo. The problem for the Spartans right now, a lot of slow starts. 2-14 against the spread in the first half, going back 16 games. They're the younger team. Are they the more talented team?
No.
Well, no. Here's the thing, though. I don't think Ole Miss is very good. I think Ole Miss, the numbers look good playing that SEC schedule, but I don't think Ole Miss is all that good of a team either. They go through a lot of scoring droughts in their games where they can't hit anything, and I think we can make a case that while Michigan State, which is the younger team of the two, isn't quite as deep and talented, Jace Richardson will probably end up being the best player on the floor tonight.
Yeah, I think Michigan State's the bigger team. I think Ole Miss player to player is more talented. One thing I will say is they don't grab offensive boards. You think you're going to beat Tom Izzo on the glass in the tournament? That's not going to happen. Also, 3-point shooting, Dustin, against Ole Miss against Iowa State. And Iowa State, if we're being fair, who has Ole Miss beaten? A North Carolina team that just was happy to be there, and an Iowa State team without their best player and their leader. And Ole Miss went 11 of 19 from 3 against Iowa State, Dustin, and Michigan State does one thing better than any team in the country, guards the 3-point shot. And that's not a surprise as a Tom Izzo team. I think, again, I like Michigan State here. I like the pedigree. Also, it's a team that has won and covered 10 of its last 11 games. That is a heater.
Yeah, and they're getting contributions offensively from more than just Richardson right now. You look at Trey Hallman, 14 in back-to-back games here in the NCAA tournament. I think what we're seeing from Izzo these last two games, why they haven't been good in the first half, is a clinic. This is what Tom Izzo does. He believes in his ability and that his players are able to get coached up in game and make adjustments. He lets you hit them with your best shot. He's let teams like Bryant and New Mexico come out and they hit him with their best shot. And in the end, Izzo makes the necessary adjustments. His team figures it out. It may not be pretty. It's usually pretty gross, but it's a lot of steals and transitions and using those turnovers against you. And I think this is a spot, despite Ole Miss having really good numbers from a turnover percent offensively wise this year, I think it's a situation where they're not used to a team that plays defense the way that Sparty does.
I totally agree. I don't think aesthetically, I don't think it's going to be overly pleasing.
No.
Although Ole Miss just said Beard's a good coach. Like,
he's a good I don't think they're that good. I've watched them a few times this year. I don't trust this offense. They don't have a game plan. They look like when you give a 12-year-old the controllers for the first time playing NBA 2K and they don't run anything. There's no picks, there's no movement. It's just Sean Padula dribbling around, hoping someone gets an open look, and then with 5 seconds on the shot clock, they throw up a prayer. This is not a good offensive team, and I think that Tom Izzo is going to show why he is consistently in the mix going to Sweet 16s.
The big guy. I like the games, though. Kentucky, a 3-2 matchup, Kentucky and Tennessee. I got Tennessee laying 5.5, 144.5 on the total. You've got Dusty May, your boy, and Michigan 5 seed versus 1 Auburn. Auburn's laying 8.5, and rightfully so in that matchup. And we've been waiting for Michigan to get bounced. Michigan probably should have got bounced in the first round by UC San Diego, and now they're going to take on the best team in the country. Good luck.
Oh, no, the run ends. The run ends tonight. It's over. Auburn's taking care of business. Auburn has too many shooters. They have too many options. So that size with Michigan can be a mismatch against a lot of teams. But Janai Broome in the paint is going to be an issue. Auburn is perfectly comfortable running things inside out, letting Broome start with the ball in the post, kick it out to one of their 3 shooters who can knock it down from beyond the arc. They've got Jones, they've got Kelly, they've got Pettiford. All of them can hit the 3 in big spots. I just don't see Michigan having the star power to score from the outside to hang. They have the 2 7-footers. That's awesome. I think this is where the run comes to an end. It's been a really nice run. The one interesting story, or the 2 interesting stories we have when it comes to Michigan, Trey Donaldson, their guard, was originally at Auburn. Danny Wolf, one of those big guys for Michigan, he was on the Yale team that upset Auburn a year ago in the NCAA tournament. That's a cool, fun storyline, but the reality is this Auburn team, offensively, defensively, it is the best team that Bruce Pearl's ever had. They're going to take care of business.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Laying a big number, 8.5. Then you have Purdue, the 4 seed against the 1 seed in Houston, and that's an 8.5 as well. I have the exact same feelings. And again, you hate to be on the side of the favorite all the time, but Houston to me is just right now it's a wagon. I like your 6.5 on them in the futures market. If I were to pick a team, it really comes down to Duke or Houston as far as the best teams in the tournament. I would pick Houston over Florida. I would pick Houston over Auburn. The only team right now that scares me and is freaking great is Duke.
I'm looking at DraftKings right now. You can still get plus 550 on Houston. Like, what are we doing here? This team is freaking awesome. The concern you have about tonight, there's 2 concerns for me in my Houston Cougars ticket. One, this game's in Indiana, so it's basically a home game for Purdue. Second, the Sweet 16 feels like the usual time where something weird happens to Kelvin Sampson's team every year, and they somehow don't show up in a big spot. I do think playing this game at Lucas Oil, where it's the one game being played in a football stadium versus a basketball arena, the sight lines hurt Purdue more than they hurt Houston because Purdue is so bad defensively. At least if the shot's not falling for the Cougars, they can rely on their defense. Purdue can't do that, so that's why I think Houston takes care of business.
If you find a significant other that loves you as much as Dustin loves that football arena angle, you're gonna find true love for the rest of your life.
Why is no one talking about it? Why am I the only one talking about it? It's a big deal.
Because you're the greatest thing that's ever happened to the radio.
I caught information that no one else noticed, and I'm not getting enough credit for being totally fair.
No one. You're
Nobody
the only person.
You're the only
person.
For
sure. No, I know. And that's why I just gave you props. You're definitely the
I didn't
only
hear.
person that's ever thought about it. I know.
I didn't hear. I didn't hear JT the Brick mention it one time this week.
Why would he? He's screaming at the callers. All right, so that is that. Let's continue. We do have baseball. We're underway with
Yep.
Ole Miss and Michigan State. Ole Miss out to an early 2-0 lead. I do like the matchups, to be honest with you, because I do think outside of Michigan Auburn, I I think Purdue's sneaky. I think Kentucky Tennessee is going to be an awesome matchup, and I think Barnes does advance. I think
hope so.
there's an opportunity for Barnes to kind of put whatever reputation he has to rest, because again, he has a facsimile of what we've seen without Connect, who was a great scorer. He has a facsimile of what we've seen, just a bunch of grown ass men, and nobody coaches defense better than Barnes.
No, it's unfair to hold it against him if they don't advance today. I do think they get it done. It's hard to beat the same team 3 times in 1 year. I also think the football stadium angle that you just made fun of, it benefits Tennessee over Kentucky because of their style, because they're more prone to shooting 2s than 3s. I'm not sure the 3s are going to be falling. I did go under in that game. I know you don't bet unders. I just offended you on a Friday, but that's the reality. That's what I played. I think that's going to be a very low, slow tempo game because that's what Tennessee likes to do. But you can't hold it against Rick Barnes. He's become like your friend's grandfather that's still working late in life. You're just rooting for him to get through every day.
So he just doesn't. So Rick, but okay. So the theme is we hope Rick Barnes doesn't drop dead.
Well, no, we're proud of him for still doing it at this point. We're just proud of him for getting here.
We certainly are. Baseball, you just have one final, and that is the Rays over the Rockies earlier today. Just underway, the Orioles at the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays are going to be terrible this year. And just underway, the Pirates and Marlins, 2 terrible baseball teams. Outside of that, got great matchups. Coming up in just about an hour, you have the Red Sox and Rangers. Your Mets 0-1, not a great start to the year against the Astros. Elsewhere, the Braves Padres is a good series, and of course the Tigers Dodgers. Cubs Diamondbacks. The Cubs went on an offensive explosion last night, which pissed me off.
Yep,
big time. They got all over Gallen early. I was bitter.
Oh, dude, that was not fun. When I pulled up the box score and it was like the 3rd inning, I went, well, that was the first really bad call of the day, that of the year. Like opening day, you couldn't have a worse read on a game. It blew up in my face. So what'd we do? Well, I'm looking at VSiN.com/picks and I have 12 bets today. So that's where we're at. So we don't stop firing over here. I've got a bunch of pitcher props we're going to get to later. I did bet the Pirates. We're going to sweat that one out. I bet Pirates -146 at the Marlins, and I hope I don't have to turn this game on because Connor Gillespie, I thought he was an infielder. He's the starting pitcher for Miami.
Yeah, well, good luck with that. Oh, the Miami Marlins. Hey, speaking of baseball, how's Rob doing today? Mr. Manfred, did he come back on and talk about his app? Yeah,
let's see if
the MLB app working today? The second day of Major League Baseball 2025 would be a good time to get the app up and going. Anything?
Bueller? You know what? I'm pulling it up. Nope. You know what? See, we're going to have to say something about Rob here. I don't want to.
Be careful. Be careful.
So there's games on Apple TV right now, which is a whole other issue aside from the app. I have to log into my account, apparently. I'll let you know if it's working in the next segment. But the Apple TV thing is a disaster for baseball as well. Like the multiple, if I'm paying for MLB TV, which according to MLB TV right now, I may not be because I use my brother's account. So he may not be paying for it. That's the issue. To have a whole separate Apple TV account just to watch Major League Baseball for one night a week, not a great look right now for baseball either.
Oh, you're doing the get off my lawn bit?
It's not.
Yeah, you're doing the get off my lawn bit.
It's not get off my lawn. It's get out of my phone. I got too many of these apps. I got Peacock. I got YouTube TV.
You're definitely doing. You're definitely doing. Did you listen to Chris today?
No, but I don't think he did that today because he would be criticizing Robin. He doesn't do that.
No, but you're doing get off my lawn. Listen. Well, that is 2025, big guy. But if you have to find it on Apple TV, I think you're going to be okay. Isn't that the same network you tell me all the time to go watch that Ted Lasso?
Yeah, but I canceled it.
So you can find Ted Lasso just fine, but you can't watch a baseball game.
Because I canceled it until season 4 comes out. By the way, they just announced season 4. It sounds tremendous.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. 888 Mad Dog 6, 888 623 36:46. So a tremendous time of the year here on VSiN Live. And again, jump into the chat on YouTube at VSiN Live. Dustin mentioned the picks. He's got 12 of them today. There's probably close to 100 over at VSiN.com/picks. You can get it all right now for $1.58. Go to VSiN.com/subscribe. All right, so we are a couple of things. The Taylor Jenkins situation. So Taylor Jenkins is as nondescript as anybody in major league sports across the four majors. I mean, Taylor Jenkins, you hadn't heard of him before he was elevated to the head coaching position of the Memphis Grizzlies. But what we do know is that the hoop heads and NBA Twitter, they rave about his technical skill within a game. And he was the Memphis Grizzlies head coach. Now, taking a look right now at the standings, the Memphis Grizzlies are having a good year. And by the way, they're getting an off year from Ja because Ja he ain't that good. The Memphis Grizzlies are 44-29, and they've been spot starting Ja the whole year because they're saving them for the postseason. Again, they're just a game and a half out of the 3 seed, and they fired Taylor Jenkins today with 9 games to play. Immediately, it's like people start popping off like, well, they're having a good year. Why would they fire the head coach? Or what, are you a child? Why would they fire the head coach with all the drama and a league that is completely driven by the players? You know what happened. There was a team meeting. Somebody said, I don't like the way coach is talking to me. And then Ja said, I don't like the way I'm getting spot started. It's not good for my stats. It's like Shedeur Sanders, who takes sacks so he doesn't hurt his completion percentage, which is true, by the way. Go for it, Giants. Have fun with that mediocre-ass quarterback. However, you know, they probably had a players meeting. They said, we don't want to try hard unless you get rid of the guy that's mean to us, and Taylor Jenkins doesn't have a job with 9 games to go and the playoffs right around the corner. The NBA, it's fantastic.
Yeah, the only logical explanation outside of Maury Povich having to be involved because he's sleeping with someone's wife that works for the organization is Ja Morant is the only story with this team, and it's that he's never playing. And he's missed 30 games this year, and the obvious only way this makes any sense to me is Ja Morant doesn't believe he should be rested the way he's being rested. He wants to play more. He wants to look better because then he can make all NBA teams. He can then make more money when he gets his next contract. So by taking him off the floor, telling him they need to save him for the postseason, it hurts Ja Morant's wallet in the long run. That is the only logical explanation. If you need a good conspiracy theory, pop on Reddit because I'm sure there's great ones flying about Taylor Jenkins. Outside of that, the team's pretty good. It's not great. They have a lot of really cool pieces, really nice, solid players. But outside of Ja, there isn't a superstar that makes you think that Memphis can make a deep postseason run this year.
By the way, that is the second time you've made a sexual indiscretion claim. We just want to say he's just joking around.
Oh, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, he doesn't. He knows nothing about Taylor Jenkins and any type of indiscretion.
I'm just comparing it because we didn't know why Ime Udoka got let go by Boston when he did because they were awesome, and then all of a sudden he's gone, and we find out down the road all this stuff went down. I'm not saying Taylor Jenkins did that, although yeah, but
no, he's literally not saying it, dude.
I'm not saying he didn't.
I'm raw dogging the show. So is Twitter alluding to anything shady?
No, Dustin Swedelson's alluding to it. This is not substantiated. I'm making up a scenario.
What is the consensus amongst the losers on social?
No one has any word. No one has any idea. Like there's not.
So Memphis hasn't leaked anything.
No, I have not seen anything about the Grizzlies and the conspiracies or reasons why Taylor Jenkins was let go. Everyone's pretty perplexed at not just like it happening all together, but happening right before the playoffs. That's the bigger story. Is we're 9 games left in the season, and they're like, you know what? We'll figure it out with someone new, get a new set of eyes on this team to make this run in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, they're a game and a half behind Denver for the 3 seed. So they're tied with the Lakers in the 5 seed. So, I mean, they're having a good year. They're having a very good year. I mean, they're 44-29. It's a tremendous. Jaren Jackson Jr. is a star. Like, they have a lot of pieces. Now, are they going to beat Oklahoma City? No. Are they going to win a championship? No. But that's a respectable franchise. And Taylor Jenkins has been the head coach of a team that seems to overachieve year after year. Taylor Jenkins, last time I checked, was the coach when they pushed Golden State that year. They won a championship.
Yeah, but I guess I'll bring up one other example from Memphis when they let go of a coach, and I don't remember the exact details why, but everyone just claimed this guy was going to have success in his next stop, and that was David Fizdale. Remember David Fizdale gets let go by Memphis, and everyone's like, you know what? He'll go to another place, and he'll win there, and he'll get the resources he needs, and he flamed out with the Knicks. I don't know. Maybe there's something to it where the people within that organization see something that they don't like that's not going to get them to the next level. But you opened it by saying people in NBA circles respect him. They think he's a very good coach. We'll see how that plays out when all these other jobs open up. Will he be unemployed going into next season?
There's always something that we have to remember, people, that we don't know. He could just be an asshole.
Yes.
He could be the greatest person in the world. It is always it's why I always get bitter when people talk about Aaron Rodgers and his family. The only thing more confusing than interpersonal relationships with family is the Da Vinci Code. Like, if you think you know what's going on in your next door neighbor's house, times it by a trillion, drama-wise. So when people are like, he doesn't even get along with his family, I'm like, you're a freaking idiot. He probably doesn't, but you have no idea. So we have no idea what Taylor Jenkins is, what he isn't. What we do know is the timing of it stinks of a player revolt.
Yeah, no, that's the only logical end game here is that the players said, we don't want to do this with this guy anymore. That's why we're not playing to the level that the ownership group must expect them to play to. You want us to be better? Get us a different coach. Get us someone else who can maximize the talent on this team. But I'd say, like, the talent on the team's good. Is it great? I don't think it's great. It's good. They're a very good team.
Totally.
They feel built for the regular season. We'll see if things change in the playoffs if they get Ja, because Ja is the guy with the potential to take over a series if he's 100%, but he hasn't been 100% all year.
Yeah, and the only reason I brought up Ja's name is because generally the only person with the clout is the person with the big contract and the person that matters the most on a team, and that's obviously Ja Morant. And Ja Morant has done himself no favors by the way he's comported himself off the floor. So we just go there. Averaging 22, 4, and 7. He's having a little bit of a better year, although he's shooting 29% from three. He ain't that good.
No, but that just wasn't his game. That's never been his game. And I don't know if you know what he is? And this was the comp when he was coming out of college out of Murray State, was he reminded people of Russell Westbrook. And what happens? That style of play has a ceiling. If you're not going to be able to shoot threes consistently for me, you can't be my number one guy, because that's just a way for us to battle back in games, to extend leads. And he's a good, fun, explosive player. But does that lead to winning consistently at that next level in the NBA? I don't believe it does.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, like it or hate it, the league is so three-point driven now. If your superstar can't shoot them.
Most people listening hate it.
Yeah, well. Did they hate it? Did Steve Torrey hate it last night when his Alabama team couldn't miss? Like the Steph Curry was playing every position, like Sears was Larry Bird. I'll tell you something, and we should come back and talk about last night's game. Here's what I need, because I've had a rough one today. I did do a horse racing show earlier today. Had to get brushed up on that. Your boy has been slanging it today, big guy. So what I need from you, and that's not just the big guy who. The ego must be out of control if he's got 12 picks today. Something happened. When somebody makes 12 plays, it's a fight with the girlfriend. it's like this. If your wife or sister comes home with a new haircut, you say, "What's wrong?" You don't say congratulations. You say, what happened to you? What makes you want to change the vibes? When somebody enters 12 picks at VSiN.com/picks, you say, are you going through a breakup? Did you have a rough night? Are you okay? Are you feeling insecure about yourself? So outside of the big guy, who's got plenty of plays, 888 Mad Dog 6, 888-623-3646. We want your plays for the remainder of the Sweet 16. Next up is Kentucky in Tennessee. Before I go to break, are you okay?
No, I got my teeth kicked in yesterday. So we're trying to make up some ground over here. As I said 4 million times on yesterday's show, baseball is my favorite sport. Apparently, I don't know anything about it because I went like 1-5 yesterday. So we've adjusted course. We're looking at more pitcher props today. We have a hitter prop in one of the late games. We're all over the place in Major League Baseball. I wasn't going to have the Sweet 16 happen and not have a bunch of bets in those games either. So I've got all these things converging at once, and I just don't have the self-control to not bet on them.
Well, no, the good news is, entertainment-wise, on radio and YouTube, nothing plays like pitcher props. So your instincts are dead on as a host. you put ego over entertainment, which is always an issue. Pitcher props, kill me.
It's the future. This is the future. Us old people get made fun of for betting sides and totals. All the kids, I'm trying to be like the cool kids. They bet on the pitcher props and hitters props. I'm trying to join that lunch table.
888 Mad Dog 6. We need winners, people. That's the bottom line.
I really need winners.
Wait, we need. I'll be betting soccer tonight too. We'll just have some fun with it. 888-623-3640. The big guys here. I'm Patrick Meagher. Of course, this is VSiN Live. You can find us YouTube at VSiN Live. Early Ole Miss 13-10. Still very early over Michigan State. We continue on a Friday.
This is VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio with Patrick Meagher and Dustin Swedelson. reaction to all of the night's action. You're tuned in to VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio. Here's Patrick Maher and Dustin Swedelson.
VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio. The big guy, Dustin Swedelson. I'm Patrick Maher. Isaiah, somebody get him a Red Bull. My man just yawned right in my grill piece. I mean, Isaiah, wake up, kid. Ryan Smith running our YouTube at VSiN Live on YouTube. Ryan heard it. I'm raw dogging. I have no computer. I don't know if I've ever done anything in life in the past 10 years, I'd say, without a computer, but I'm going to attempt 3 hours. Someone's got to be a hero. But one thing I don't know, we do have Michigan State trailing by 5, 15-10, 10:32 to play in the first, so plenty of time there. The game that's about to tip in, what would you say, about 9 minutes here, Dustin? Did they push it back? Yesterday they pushed back everything.
6 minutes is what I'm seeing. Kentucky, Tennessee set to tip. Vols laying 5.5 now. That total is 145 and a hook.
Do you have a play there?
Yeah, I went under. You're gonna shame me, so I don't want to say it again. But
I'm not
playing this game.
I'm not shaming anything.
They're playing this game in a football stadium, and Tennessee plays at a super slow pace. And I'm not sure that 3 ball is going to be there for Kentucky, especially early on. Tennessee likes to rely more on the 2. They're going to play a more old school game. They also only have 3 scorers that they rely on, so they're not going to score a ton of points to begin with. I think Tennessee's able to limit Kentucky scoring from the outside so much, and they'll control the pace of this game. That's why I went under in it.
Yeah, I mean, that variance as far as 3-point shooting, look, it stepped up and bit BYU in the ass big time yesterday. What'd they do?
But it didn't bite Alabama.
Oh, BYU, the polygamists, they went 6 of 30 from 3. They shot 20%. You're probably going to lose 113-88 if you do that, especially if Alabama. First off, Sears had like 35. And Alabama shot close to 50% from 3, 25 of 51. That's bonkers.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is one of those teams, the variance, they were on the right side of it. In this one, look, Tennessee 19 and 15 to the under this year. They play 330th adjusted tempo. They were 80th last year. You want to compare last year with Connect to this year in the Vols? The offense is just totally different. They're going to limit these possessions. They're also the 3rd best team in 3-point defense in the nation. So they're going to be up in the shorts of those Kentucky shooters trying to shoot. Now, Kentucky has a lot of guys who can get buckets. They've got all 5 starters average at least 10 points for the Wildcats. But in this kind of situation, late in the year, Sweet 16, different sight lines, I don't think the shots they made in those 2 regular season wins will be there. And I think Tennessee will make the necessary adjustments in the 3rd matchup between these 2 programs.
All right. We talked about it yesterday with the handicap of Maryland and Florida, that the Crab 5 just not quite enough, and Florida's depth would eventually shine through. And they did. Second half, Maryland was toast, 87-71. I'm guessing not an overly inspired halftime speech by Kevin Willard. Now, let me just say something about Kevin Willard, your boy. I did call him a loser yesterday, and I do feel bad. I probably throw that term around too much, but he's certainly a loser. Here's the problem I have with Kevin Willard. He had an opportunity, and it was the easiest opportunity in the world, but he chose violence. He chose selfishness. He chose Kevin Willard when he didn't really have to. He can have the Villanova job if he wants it. And again, I'm not online. So if something's happened, Dustin, you can tell me. He can have the Villanova job if he wants to. He can, Maryland's going to get a new AD. He can do whatever he wants there. He just got to the Sweet 16. So leverage isn't something he needed to play with through the media. But what he did do was take, for kids that are going to stick around for 4 years, what he did do was take their moment and rip it from them. That is factual. And the whatever vibes were caused around the organization, and that being Maryland, whether or not it helps them, whether or not it hurts them, my assumption is it hurt those kids to know that their coach was bailing on them, to know that the coach wasn't showing up at the team dinner the night before. But that's not my issue. My issue is, and yeah, it is my issue to a certain degree, my issue is every time he had an opportunity and was plainly asked, what's the deal, he was cryptic, and he turned it into the Kevin Willard show. And that's an issue. He made it about himself. And you know what he would say? Well, the landscape of college hoops and college athletics has changed. This is now pro, so I got to do me. No. You are supposed to set the standard. You're supposed to be a person that people look up to. And he completely failed. All he had to say the whole entire time is, we're just focused on the next game in front of us. We'll figure all that out. And you know what else he said? He said, and I don't know if this is the clip you're about to play. If it is, it's great. Kevin Willard said, I haven't talked to my wife or my agent yet about what I'm going to do. You're such an asshole. Like, honestly, you are. It's so, you know what Kevin Willard said before he took the job at College Park when he was at Seton Hall? They played it back on the Junkies this morning. He said, literally, in his last press conference when Seton Hall lost, he said, I haven't talked to my agent or my wife yet.
No. Playbook. It's following the same playbook. No. Okay. The issue with Kevin Willard, we'll hear from him in a second. It's not what he's doing or why he's doing it. What he's doing, he's leaving for Villanova. Go back to the Big East, conference he's familiar with. A great job. Villanova is a great job. I still don't think it's a better job than Maryland. Maybe I'm in the minority there, but it's a great job in that city of Philadelphia. Really easy to build the borders of how you want to recruit and start that program from the ground up, like the way you want to do it. The issue is not why he's doing it. Why is he doing it? Maybe it's not because he thinks Villanova is a better job, but he does see changes happening there in College Park where there's a new AD about to come in. The guy who hired him has been announced as going to SMU. So he doesn't know if he'll be dead man walking every single year if he has one bad season with a new AD that didn't bring him in and therefore gets no credit for him. The issue for Kevin Willard is the how he's handling this. And there was a way to do it, and it happened a week ago, and it was Will Wade at McNeese State being asked about him being circulated in rumors for other jobs and just being out in the open. Yes, me and my players, we talk about it. We talk about my future, and we also talk about their future because the portal's opening up. Very transparent, very honest. He didn't have to give too much info, but he at least acknowledged the elephant in the room, something we all as adults know is happening behind the scenes. Kevin Willard instead opted to be disrespectful when he was asked about it, and instead of answering a question about his future, he went on to give a scouting report of how they match up with Florida and what Florida does well. That's the issue here. He was disrespectful, he has not been forthright, and he's acting like everyone's an idiot for asking the questions. But this is the clip of Kevin Willard following the game talking about his future.
No, I don't know what I'm doing. I'll just be honest with you. I haven't talked to my agent. I haven't talked to my wife. I made a promise to this team that I was going to just focus on this team, and that's all I've done. So I haven't talked to anybody. I have an agent. I'm sure he's talking to people because that's what agents like to do. But, you know, I don't know.
Oh, I don't know much, but I know that dude has the shittiest marriage I've ever heard of.
Your job might be changing. You haven't brought it up once. Reporters know more than your wife knows. It's probably not a great look.
Who cares about the job? You think his wife may want to know where she's going to live? You know, a different state.
Yep.
You know, he has children. I haven't talked to my wife. And by when somebody prefaces something with, I'm not going to lie to you, you're about to get lied to. So Kevin Willard just said, I'm not going to lie to you, and then just proceeded to lie to us. And then he said, I haven't talked to my agent. Are you kidding? Listen, you're going to talk to your freaking agent because you're going to tell your agent what he needs to do. You can give him marching orders. It's so stupid. Oh, all right. I think we have one more clip from this donk.
Yeah, let's hear one more from, by the way, a random name being circulated as being interested in the Maryland job. If Willard is to leave for Villanova, I'll throw that name at you after this. But this is Kevin Willard discussing his biggest concern going into the offseason.
My biggest concerns in life right now, you know, I don't know who my boss is going to be. It's the guy that brought me here, who I really liked and appreciative of him bringing me to College Park, is not here anymore. And I don't know who we're going to hire. And that's, as in today's day and age, that worries me a little bit, I'm just being honest.
He's always being honest, which you have to appreciate. He's always letting you know that he's going to be honest.
But that means
again, that leads to the question. Why the hell would Villanova want this guy?
Oh, no. At this point, Villanova should back out. Villanova said, we're not interested. And also, Maryland will be screwed in the long run, too. Maryland may have to fire him at this point. Imagine going to the Sweet 16 and you get fired because you didn't handle this situation like an adult. That's the issue here. I do want to throw this name at you because I did just see it making the rounds today. And I'm kind of surprised he would leave where he's at. But if Willard is to go to Villanova and Maryland opens up, Buzz Williams reportedly may be interested in going to College Park.
No.
Buzz Williams and that style of like tough defensive basketball, that's what you're going to do in Maryland where you can get like elite athletes? It doesn't feel like a fit to me.
No. Buzz Williams is not going to leave A&M. My assumption is they have more money. In the Big Ten, Maryland's money at College Park, the money goes to football. So that's what this dude's bitter about, and that's why Loxley told him to zip it.
No, you just said it. A&M has so much money. Buzz Williams' agent is throwing his name out there to get him an extension and get him more money to stay there.
Correct.
At college. That's why Buzz Williams' name's up. Now that we talked about it, makes sense.
A&M, that school is loaded.
They got farm money. They got stupid farm and military money. They got all that money because it's an agricultural school. They got all the money you're paying for eggs right now. Eggs are expensive. The people in charge of A&M's athletic director budget, those are the people in charge, those boosters.
Yeah, I should have said the only thing more confusing than interpersonal relationships within family is the Da Vinci Code and what's up with eggs.
Dude, I eat a lot of them. Went from being something cheap for me, and I might as well just buy steaks at this point.
You want to play a fun game? Go to Trader Joe's and get to that friendly person that runs the cash register and say, what's going on with eggs?
Bro, I'd never go to Trader Joe's. Went the other day. I did 4 laps in that place. I don't see any eggs in this building. What's going on?
Yeah, it's an issue. All right, 888-MAD-DOG-6, 888-623-3646. So college hoops, are we underway? We are just underway with Kentucky, the 3 seed, and Tennessee, the 2 seed. 3-2 Kentucky leads. Right now, Ole Miss, 6:32 to play, so we're getting there, is up 22-17 over Michigan State. So we'll keep you updated. Some good games coming up later as well. It's the best time of the year. Gable's going to join us at the top of the hour from the Borgata. He runs the race and Sportsbook. We'll see how the books are doing. And then Coach Matt McCall will join us on the program as well as we open up the phones. VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio. Let's go to New Haven and say hi to Doug. Hi, Doug.
Hey, guys. Love the
Hey,
show.
what's up?
Thanks for taking the call.
Of course.
Was listening to Dog on the way back from work, replay on the great SiriusXM app. Everybody should have that if they don't. And sorry to beat a dead horse here. I know it's been the main topic of every show on the station this week, but there's a guy who called in and challenged Dog about comments regarding John Wooden and how many teams he had to play against. I don't think he was comparing him to Dan Hurley by any means, but the guy used it as an excuse, for lack of a better term, to go after Hurley, and he made a comment about how he's only got one regular season conference title. The Dan Hurley stuff is so insane. Everybody is Ryan Patino, who just sat the Big East Player of the Year down the stretch in a tournament loss. You have Chris Beard, who I like these guys. Nobody's perfect. Dan Hurley is not perfect. I'm certainly not perfect. Chris Beard, his situation in Texas. You got Mark Few with his DUI. You got Sean Miller, Will Wade, Bruce Pearl, FBI investigations, Patino and all his stuff. The fact that people want to bring down Dan Hurley, of all people, is so insane. It's crazy. And people are going to roll their eyes at this, but this comes back to the fact that people hate that UConn, the little school in the middle of nowhere, Connecticut, is second to almost no other sports team in major American sports this century. They had more championships than Duke, and they had their first one in 1999. I don't think people understand that, and people don't like it. We're not a blue blood. I don't want to be a blue blood. We're above the blue bloods. That's what it goes back to. It goes all the way back to Jim Calhoun. He wasn't very nice either. I don't know if you remember he's got some pretty awesome clips of him at the podium talking to reporters.
Yeah.
But just the fact that we're trying to tear down this guy, and we're talking about all these other head coaches. Someone made a comment on an earlier show that the head coaches are bigger now because the players don't stick around. I thought it was a great point. But just had to get that off my.
Yeah, no, listen, and good job using the app. SiriusXM, download it.
You don't have a computer, so I'm glad he did that read for you. You can check it
Yeah,
out.
I appreciate the read. I'm having a trouble. Exactly. Before, even with the transfers, I've always said that college basketball and college football is a coach's sport. I often bet the coaches in those sports. You're 100% right about Hurley. Look, Hurley rubs people the wrong way. He's abrasive. He's boisterous. He'll tell you how good he is. But if we're being fair, if you said one person that's going to get a DUI, one head coach, you wouldn't have said Mark Few. My man's out there driving hammered, which you shouldn't do. If you said Central Casting, let's see what married head coach in college basketball is going to be hanging out at an Italian restaurant and smash a random in the restaurant. You would have said Patino, and he did. So, like, if you Chris Beard with some domestics, some breadsticks and some buns, that's Patino. He looks like
he's slimy.
Hurley hasn't had the issues, but he is cocky, and people don't like confidence that, hinges upon cockiness.
Yeah, he's not a bad guy. He's just a dick. Like, you can be both. He's not a bad, malicious, evil person. These other guys have had much worse run-ins. Completely agree there. But he's kind of a dick, and he does it to the refs. He does it to the media. He complains. He gets caught, when he doesn't realize someone's filming. It's a little unfair, but at the same time, you are who you are at all times. Like, you're always Dan Hurley, so you should probably be on your P's and Q's. He's a great coach. And the reality is, also, no one cares that it's UConn, by the way. The little school that nobody cares. It's about him just being rude and weird at times with some of the things that comes out of his mouth. The one thing you can't argue with, Dan Hurley is great for college basketball. College basketball needs a villain. College basketball needs consistency. They need someone we can rely on. And Dan Hurley is always there to do or say something interesting. And this sport desperately needs that.
He's a really fine coach, I guess. He underachieved this year. That's for sure. He underachieved this year. He won back-to-back championships with a freaking loaded roster both years. So yeah, he can take advantage of tremendous recruiting, and he coached his teams up. He didn't coach them up this year. That's all I'll say.
No, and he complained a lot.
Give Dan Hurley Tom Izzo's roster. I don't know if he does what he does. So that's where I get confused sometimes with people saying, like, this guy's a great coach, that guy's not a great coach. I don't know if Hurley is. Well, the book is yet to be written, but if somebody's comparing him to Wooden, they've lost their effing mind.
It's a weird comp. It is a weird comp. Let's see him. Let's see him make another run. Let's see him find his next set of superstars. That feels like a bit of a stretch. But my biggest issue with that whole call was the whole everyone's against UConn. Do you hate or love UConn? I feel like I have no real feelings either way, and they've had great seasons.
When I hear UConn basketball, I feel absolutely nothing in my loins.
I think of Ray Allen. That's what I think of.
888 Mad Dog 6, 888-623-3646. One team is running away here in the early window. We'll let you know who and get to your calls. VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio.
This is VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio with Patrick Maher and Dustin Swedelson. This is VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio. Here's Patrick Meagher and Dustin Swedelson.
Go for it.
Right now, head to VSiN.com for $1.58. You can become a pro for the first 30 days. What you'll get access to everything we do over there, 24/7 coverage of everything from a betting perspective, daily best bets from VSiN hosting gets, betting splits from DraftKings and Circa Sportsbooks, plus access to the VSiN Watch app where you can watch or listen 24/7 to all VSiN shows. All you got to do is use the promo code SIRIUS. That's SIRIUS at VSiN.com/subscribe.
So I don't know if this is true. Look, life is short. Don't take what I'm about to say too seriously. But remember when Arkansas played St. John's? And if you saw it, Calipari was wearing a checkered red and white sports coat. Somebody on Twitter said there's a rumor going around that it was the ultimate troll job, that Coach Cal made a jacket out of the tablecloth that Patino smashed the waitress on an Italian restaurant years ago. If Coach Cal literally was trolling Patino with the Italian tablecloth sports coat, that's an all-timer. Let's be fair.
You think they were bumping in the locker room after that win? A bottle of red, a bottle of white. Billy Joel, scenes from an Italian restaurant.
It took a while. We got there, man. It's cool. 8-8 Mad Dog 16. I'm sorry. I could fake laugh, but I'm a little tired and I'm raw dog and I have no computer. So you're doing a good job of carrying me on the computer, not the Billy Joel puns.
We'll get you a plan B tomorrow.
Well, why would they sing that to each other? It doesn't even make sense.
No, I meant the players usually play some song to celebrate when they get in the locker room. They play Billy Joel that time.
Yeah, they could have. That's true. Because I'm guessing.
And by the way, those scenes from that Italian restaurant were X-rated. So,
but you're right. The players in 2025, African American kids would probably be playing some Billy Joel. So it's good. Your joke worked out well. I totally agree with everything you said. Let's say Jeff in Chicago, VSiN Live. Hi, Jeff.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Happy Friday.
What's up, Jeff?
Nothing. I was listening the other day, and I just want to say, Dustin, driving around Boston is crazy. So.
No, you're right. You guys are 100% right, and that is a good analysis of Fenway Park.
But Dustin's analysis of a ballpark, talking about traffic signs and shit.
Well, listen, you know my pain, Jeff. You know my pain, brother.
But I wanted to get your thoughts. Well, I was going to comment on the last caller about Bobby Hurley. I really don't think there's nothing more to say. Patrick, you summed it up. Like the guys, people like him or hate him. His personality, it is what it is. I mean. But I wanted to get your thoughts on the Houston game tonight. What are your thoughts covering? I got them in, parlays across the board. Houston, this game, and then possibly moving forward. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. Always good to hear from you. I think Dustin got them at 6.5 to 1, and they've only adjusted after winning 2 games down to 5.5 to 1. So I don't think it's too late to get on Houston. They have an awesome offense. It's like when they play BYU and they just shut them down on the perimeter, they can impose their will defensively and on the boards against anybody, and now they have an offense. I love this team.
I think they're minus 130 or 115 or something like that to win their region. They already played their hardest game. They played Gonzaga. That was going to be the spot where they stumbled. I am not concerned about Purdue. Who did Purdue beat? They beat High Point and they beat McNeese State. McNeese State was an emotional letdown spot. Let's see how good Purdue really is.
Jeff, it's a cover for the Cougs. The #1 Houston Cougar fan is the sportsbook director at the Borgata, Thomas Gable. Next.
This is VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio with Patrick Meagher and Dustin Swedelson. long. This is VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio. Here's Patrick Maher and Dustin Swedelson.
Yo, big guy, before we get to Thomas Gable, hit me with what's coming up on SiriusXM, if you will.
You can hear every single game of the Sweet 16 tonight on SiriusXM. We've got...
What's that voice? Why are you doing that?
Because I was just doing my reader voice. This is my reading on the air voice. It's different from the normal talking to you voice where I stumble over words. When I do the reading voice, I'm less likely to trip up. But you can hear every game of the Sweet 16 tonight, 9:39 Eastern. Hear number 1 seed Auburn take on number 5 Michigan in the South region. It'll be on Sirius 208, XM 201, and the SiriusXM app. For a complete schedule of games, go to SiriusXM.com/sports.
Pulled it off. All right, so as you said, Michigan State made a push going into the break. They were down double digits, and now it's just a 2-point game with Mississippi up 33-31. We can get the halftime number there. Big guys, we're going to welcome in our buddy Thomas Gable. Elsewhere, Tennessee, a nice start against Kentucky. Still 9:36 to play, but they're up 21-13. As we say hi to our good friend Thomas Gable. He runs the race and sportsbook at the Borgata. It's been a busy couple of weeks, so we do appreciate the time. TG, how are you feeling?
Doing well, guys, and always great to see or hear the change of pace with Dustin doing the reads there tonight. I like it.
It did sound good. I'm not gonna lie. Hey, big guy, you tell me what you have before you comment. You tell me what you have for the halftime number, and then let's compare it to Thomas's there at the Borgata, Mississippi, Michigan State.
We've got Michigan State laying 4.5, total 75.5. And Thomas, the reason why I'm doing the reads is Patrick's computer broke because I sent him a link that is not safe for work, and he no longer can get into his laptop.
I'm raw dogging. So we got, what'd you say, 4.5, big guy, with Michigan State?
Oh, it just ticked down to 3.5, minus 125 on Sparty.
TG, what are you laying at the Borgata?
Yeah, I'm at 4 currently for second half, 76.5 for the total in the second half, and live line, Michigan State laying 2.5, live total 140.5 for the game. So, good start by Ole Miss for sure, and we need them in this game. Michigan State's been a popular play, free flop here, so both money line and on the spread. So we'll see if Ole Miss can do it. They've been surprising a lot of people throughout the tournament here, and they've actually been rather good for this side of the counter with them continuing to win and advance. So if they can even cover here or an outright win, would be a really nice result for us.
Yeah, my assumption is you had liability on North Carolina when they played Ole Miss, and liability on Iowa State, correct?
Huge game with North Carolina, and that one was where literally I think everybody they watched the playing game, they saw how great North Carolina looked in that playing game, and everybody was on UNC with that. I mean, that was such a lopsided decision we had in that, and Ole Miss took it to them, so that was good. And yeah, and even Iowa State, that was a good result for us. So Ole Miss has been one of the teams that has been a nice for us, not nice to the others.
TG, is it hard to set numbers for this Michigan State team this year just because they don't shoot the three well, and they keep letting teams jump them early on, and then they make all these adjustments and end up winning in the end? I mean, Bryant jumped them, right? New Mexico jumped them, and now you've got Ole Miss with a lead at the half. How difficult is it from behind the counter to set a number when it comes to Michigan State this year?
Well, in terms of power rating, no. I mean, you're going to power rate the same as you would any other team, but they certainly have had a very nice increase. I'm looking at them now from the start of the season here to present. I basically have them raised 7 points really from where I started them preseason, where I haven't power rated. So yeah, they've made a very nice and gradual increase throughout the season. So I think the total, though, is really the totals in their games is what is a little bit difficult because of just how, as you mentioned it, second half, last 5 minutes, 4 minutes of the game where they just can seem to completely lock down their opponent on defense. And it's, we've seen it time and time again. And, this is a team that that Tom Izzo really enjoys coaching. You can tell these guys enjoy playing with each other. Listen, there are teams that you saw in this tournament that did not like each other. Kansas comes to mind, and and the relationship they had with their coach. This is the complete opposite of that with Michigan State. These guys enjoyed playing with each other. Izzo trusts them, and seems to be having a really good time coaching them this year. And that counts for a lot, especially come tournament time. So we'll see if they can do what they have been doing, and see if they can lock down Ole Miss here in the second half and pull this out.
Thomas Gable, Borgata, Atlantic City, finest property on the East Coast. I want to jump to last night, but quickly, who'd they take with Kentucky, Tennessee? Tennessee up 11 right now.
Yeah, Tennessee will be a good result for us if they can hang on here and cover the number. That's who we need. They were betting the dog. Kentucky money line also very popular here on that one. So yeah, we'll need the volunteers.
All right. So Arkansas with the cover last night. A meltdown. Should have won the game outright. Duke probably should have covered. Arizona does cover. Florida covers the 7.5, and Bama easily covers the 4.5. The 4 games last night. How'd it go for the book?
Well, so first off, unfortunately, because of where the Duke game and Alabama they were playing at the Prudential Center. They were off the board here in New Jersey. And a lot of people don't realize that there's a carve-out in New Jersey with the statute of sports betting. Not only can you not bet on New Jersey colleges, you also can't bet on college games played in the state of New Jersey. So even though these were neutral court games and no schools there from New Jersey, because the games were played in New Jersey, we couldn't offer them. So it was unfortunate. Duke, Arizona off the board, and the Alabama BYU game as well. Now, Alabama, I will say, probably if you were an Alabama backer, you probably didn't like to see that last night because you aren't going to get that again. I mean, that was a top-tier performance from Alabama, as good as you're going to get from them. And even, if they play Duke playing like that, they can beat Duke. I just don't know if you're going to get a back-to-back performance from them like you saw last night. I mean, that was unbelievable. Sears hitting 10 threes in the game. They were unconscious. So we'll see. Obviously, they're going to try to play Duke up-tempo tomorrow and keep that game up-tempo. Duke not covering, as you said. I would have liked to have booked that game where Duke finally didn't cover because literally people just continue to bet them blindly every game to cover. And then in the other two, well, Arkansas and Texas Tech, I mean, Arkansas was very much in control of that game, and then Coach Calipari decided to play his greatest hits. I mean, he brought them all out for the fans last night. No timeout calling, won't foul up 3. I mean, it was classic Cal, and I'm sure all the Kentucky fans, they're well aware of this, and probably can pat the Arkansas fans on the back and say, join the club, because you saw it live last night. And remember, Texas Tech didn't have one of their best players, Chance McMillan. He did not play last night and hasn't played. So they're definitely going to need McMillan in the lineup when they face Florida, because Florida, again, this was we've seen Florida first 2 rounds didn't cover. Obviously got a very big scare there from UConn when they played UConn in the second round. And last night they finally looked like the Florida team that we know that they are. They played up to their power rating. They took that Maryland team apart there, especially in the second half. Maryland did not have an answer for them, and they're finally looking like that team that I had power rated basically right underneath Duke overall. And they're going to be, if they play like that, I mean, they're extremely tough to beat, and Texas Tech is going to need all hands on deck. McMillan's their best 3-point shooter. He's going to need to be out there, but I don't know. He participated in shoot around last night, and then I guess he didn't feel well after that. He's been dealing with an oblique injury, and basically took himself out of the line. Said, I can't go. So we'll see. I mean, he's been hurt. I don't know what the prognosis is going to be for tomorrow night, but they're certainly going to need him and need to be at full strength if they're going to beat Florida.
The line on that Alabama-Duke game, by the way, TG, Duke laying 7 I'm seeing in the market, total 174. Am I crazy? Does 174 seem a little bit low for an Alabama game and all the shooters that Duke has to offer?
Well, the question is going to be what kind of pace is Duke going to play at if they're going to go completely up tempo with Alabama. I would say, yeah, that's going to be low. I think it probably served Duke a little bit to try to make this a half-court game because, I mean, let's face it, they're a much stronger team than Alabama is in the half court. Now they could run with them if they want, but yeah, I mean, if you think Alabama is going to be able to continue to push this and dictate the pace, then yeah, it probably is a little bit low. I make it 6.5 for that game, and again, Alabama though they seem to once again be peaking at the right time. That almost a repeat of what happened last year, if you remember. They kind of went on a downward path there in the end of the regular season and the SEC tournament, and they made the run to the Final Four. Same thing this year. They weren't looking good towards the end of the regular season, seemed to be leaking oil. Got knocked out of the SEC tournament, and then here we go. As soon as the NCAA tournament starts, they're once again hitting it on cylinders. So kudos to Nate Oates for getting that team going, but they got a very stern test tomorrow night.
Hold on. That's very diplomatic. For those that don't, Thomas doesn't hate any team because he just books them and he wants the book to win. But with every 3-pointer made by Alabama, he threw up in his mouth. He can't stand that style. You do not like this Bama team.
I can't say I don't. And first of all, let me just go back to that first comment you made. I do hate two teams. I hate Syracuse and Villanova. I've hated them my whole life. So
as a Georgetown fan, yes.
But as far as I don't hate Alabama, but I just don't. I don't necessarily think that their style of play lends itself to winning a national title. I'll say that. Could it get them past Duke? Potentially. Again, if they play like they did last night, I just don't see them being able to duplicate that effort in back-to-back games, especially against a defense that is as good as Duke's.
No,
just because
Duke is great, man. Duke is young and big. They're a wagon, Dustin.
They're not just flag either. I think that's the thing that's jumped out to me watching them more and more. I know Cooper Flagg's player of the year, and he is amazing, but Proctor's been awesome.
Yes. Knepel's
stepped up at times. Like, they're really, really good. But just because you mentioned it, TG, that you hate Villanova, I'm curious, what do you think of this Kevin Willard thing? I understand there's more at play when it comes like the athletic director at Maryland leaving, and that's part of why he wants to go to Nova. But just from a job, do you believe the Villanova job is actually better than the Maryland job?
Potentially it could be. I mean, listen, Jay Wright could have had a job for life there if he wanted to.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if he's the right fit for that university, it could be a better job than Maryland. Now, Kevin Willard's already been in the Big East before, so there's some familiarity there with the conference. I'll say this, and I don't know if this was 100% true. I mean, he's the one who said it, but like when Queen hit that shot in the second round to let Maryland advance to the Sweet 16, the buzzer beater there, and in the timeout, Willard, rather than drawing up a play, literally said, "Who wants the ball?" I mean, if that's the head coach and that's what you do when the game is on the line and you ask the players who wants the ball, and Queen's the one who steps up and says, I'll take it. I mean, come on. I don't know what school's going to hire you.
Yeah, it's a terrible look. All right, let's talk about the two left. I'll ask you about your team, and that's Houston. We just had our buddy Jeff in Chicago call and say, what do you guys think about this matchup tonight? So, of course, it's Purdue, Houston. What's your number, and what's your take on the game?
So if this was on a pure neutral, I make it 8. It's sitting 8.5 right now. The problem is this is not a pure neutral court. It's at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indy, And essentially, Purdue, there's certainly a slight home court advantage here for Purdue just because of the proximity. So this is not going to be a super easy game here for Houston. Now, they should be able to handle the Boilermakers, but I mean, it's sitting 8.5. I think it's maybe a tick too high right now in the market, but I mean, that is essentially the market price. I probably prefer the under right now, and that's 134.5. If I was going to play this game, but even that it's come up. I made the total slightly lower, and the market has gone has moved up 2 points. So, I think Houston again, as you know, I do love this team. I think they have a great chance of winning a title. The defense is still there, as it's always been every year, but this is their best offensive team that they've had under Sampson. So the fact that they have it all together, all the pieces are finally together, this is a championship caliber team, and certainly should be able to do away with Purdue here in advance and set up a matchup with obviously the winner here of Tennessee and Kentucky, which is going on right now. But yeah, I would stay away from the side. Personally, I just wouldn't bet the side on this and probably just lean on the under.
Love that because I'm on the first half under. Also, TG, I did bet Houston plus 650 to win it all right before this thing got started. Was shocked that today you could still get 5.5 on them to 1. I thought that was a crazy number. I'm with you. I think this is the team that's going to cut down the nets when it's all said and done. But I need you to you're our most reasonable friend. You're a very pragmatic person. You're good at settling issues with Patrick and myself. I'm getting made fun of for being obsessed with the fact that this game's being played in Lucas Oil Stadium, and it's the only one of the Sweet 16 matchups in a football stadium with the weird sight lines that can always affect shooters. Am I making too much out of that? Has that impacted the numbers for the total specifically in Kentucky, Tennessee, and Purdue and Houston?
I don't think it has impacted the numbers much at all. Maybe a point on the total, but not much. I mean, but you're right. Playing in these football stadiums, it absolutely affects the sight lines. Kids deal with it though every year when you get to the Final Four, and the fact that the Sweet 16 and Elite 8 is being played in this venue is, obviously a little bit different, but doesn't seem to be affecting Tennessee right now.
No.
They're jumped out to a 15-point lead here on Kentucky. Now, Kentucky, let me see, they are not shooting well at all from three. They're shooting under 30% from three. Tennessee's a little bit above 33% right now from three. So could be affecting Kentucky a little bit. But we'll see here. We'll see what happens here with Houston because they can shoot the three ball this year, and we'll see if that does have some sort of effect on them. But again, another reason, though, if you like the under there, that is another reason to lean that way.
Okay, in the South, we keep waiting for this Michigan run to end. Most likely ends tonight against the 1 seed Auburn. What's your number and what's your take?
So Auburn laying 8.5. Again, a little bit higher than what I made it. I make it 8, but Auburn has been taking money since we opened this, and Michigan. We'll see if this run ends here because listen, they probably got some friendly whistles there in their first round matchup against UC San Diego. I know a lot of people who are on UC San Diego in that game were not happy with that. But give them credit. They came out and they beat A&M, a pretty good A&M team. And I think the size here of Michigan may give Auburn some issues if the bigs can stay out of foul trouble for the Wolverines. But overall, I mean, Auburn should be able to handle business. But Auburn also, out of all the number 1 seeds in the tournament, they probably look the weakest at this point. They probably look to be the one that would go out first just in terms of recent form.
All right. Well, can I just, before we say goodbye, are we allowed to talk about Notre Dame women's basketball?
I mean, if you want, I mean, that was strictly, I'll tell you.
Yeah, no. I just that was a yes or no, and then the no is as good as the yes. Thomas,
All right.
listen,
It was a no.
listen. You're the best. You keep texting me.
Okay.
You keep texting me, and you. Hey, we've called from an aesthetic perspective and from just watching the tournament perspective. We've said it's a bad tournament. Has it been a good tournament for the book?
First two rounds have been fantastic. Probably Saturday was the second round there. A little bit of trading money back and forth all day, but the other 3 days were great hold. Handle was up year over year, so I can't complain. Did lose a little bit last night, but today's a new day, and I can't complain. It's been good.
Okay, the Arkansas Derby and the Florida Derby at the race book there at the Borgata tomorrow. A lot of basketball. So Thomas Gable, you're going to be busy. Appreciate the time, TG.
All right. Thank you, guys. Good luck.
Okay. Thank you very much. As we say goodbye to Thomas Gable. I didn't want to misplace anything. So I just asked the question. You notice I didn't say what's up with this. I said, can I ask?
But the fact that he didn't want to disclose just makes the information that much more valuable.
Yeah, we'll take the information. Michigan State has tied it up out the break, 33-33, a little alley-oop for Ole Miss to go up to 35-33. Right now, let's go back and let you know what's happening with Kentucky and Tennessee. As TG said, 15-point lead for the Vols. They jumped out all over Kentucky from the first whistle, and it's on for Tennessee.
Yeah, and the efforts there, right? That's one thing you can't always quantify with a box score is the defensive efforts there. I saw a come from behind block on a Kentucky player who thought he had an easy bucket. They're getting steals. They're running in transition. Tennessee's making this a dogfight, and that's not really what Kentucky likes to do. Also, Kentucky's not very good at defending the two, so because of that, Tennessee's not relying on the three. They like to shoot more twos. That plays right into the Vols' hands, and right now they're up 17 with 3.5 to go.
Yep. Absolutely 17-point lead there. Just quickly, we are underway with your Metsies at the Astros. Do have a bunch of games late. Did you end up playing anything with the Mets?
Yeah, I went Tyler McGill, the pitcher, over 5.5 strikeouts plus money, and no runs in the first inning, but also no strikeouts for Tyler McGill. He had, I believe, 9 against the Astros and 1 start against them a season ago. He's got a big-time arm. His issue is he doesn't really go deep into games, but he'll rack up those strikeouts. However, that first inning is not helpful. And I would just like to point out, I did, since the show started, pay for MLB TV and for Apple TV. So Rob Manfred just coming for my paycheck on payday.
Wait, so you paid, is the app working?
It is working, but I had the Pirates game on earlier, but I wanted to monitor my Mets because I wasn't able to really watch the game like I would have wanted yesterday because I had to use an illegal stream. Like I'm using the sites that I steal for porn yesterday to watch the Mets.
Okay. Generally, don't they at the beginning of the year, like MLB, don't they give you like a free trial for the first couple of weeks? They're not doing that this year. So Rob's
I thought that might have been the case, but the problem was you couldn't even get to the screen yesterday where they would offer you the free trial. It was so busted.
Yeah. Yeah. Probably want to quote, be able to get to the screen.
Yeah, maybe test it out. Maybe test it out before the season starts. Like you have this whole thing called spring training where the players are getting ready and the managers are getting ready. Maybe during that, you could have figured out if the app was going to work on opening day. Really the only day that every single team and their fans care about watching the game.
Yeah, your sport literally has a get ready season. and the people that govern the sport weren't ready.
And as the season goes on, all these fan bases care less and less. Now, one thing I would note, the Mets are wearing their new road unis. Got to tell you, they added new piping to the sides where it's a orange line with 2 blues on the outside of it. I'm liking the look. I'm liking the new look of the Mets unis. Positive vibes.
Thank God.
I'm a big pipe guy.
Everybody knows you're a big pipe guy.
Big on piping.
By the way,
and the Mets just got picked off.
Flaherty Yamamoto tonight, Dodger Stadium. Flaherty, the funniest part was they made so much out of Flaherty going to the Dodgers last year at the trade deadline because he's from LA. His mom's throwing a party. He's throwing a party. Fox is doing specials, and he went right back to the country, right all the way across the country to Detroit to play for the Tigers again.
Yeah, if I got to hear about Harvard Westlake one more time and him and Lucas Giolito, like relax, people. We get it. Kids in California in an affluent area are good at baseball. I mean, that's how it goes, or in California. I do have a play in that game.
Yeah,
You're not
plus
gonna like
185 on the Tigers. Are you kidding? That number's crazy.
I went Dodgers team total over 4.5 plus 110. They scored 5 off Scooble. This is the best lineup we've ever
Fair
seen.
enough.
They'll score 5 against Jack freaking Flaherty, who they threw his arm off last year to win a World Series.
Hey.
Detroit used 3 relievers yesterday, and the Dodgers, 4th best in baseball a year ago, OPS against righties.
Let's go.
Are righties called northpaws if lefties are called southpaws? Are righties called? I'm going to start calling them northpaws. I invented that.
888 Mad Dog 6, 888-623-3646. We'll get to your calls. It's a busy night. You do have a little bit of a window until the 2 late games. We'll get you updated on the early Sweet 16 matchups and more baseball as well. It's VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio.
This is VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio with Patrick Maher and Dustin Swedelson. all of the night's action. You're tuned in to VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio. Here's Patrick Maher and Dustin Swedelson.
All right, so you got to wake up every morning and figure out what's happening on in sports, what's happening in sports betting. Do it with the VSiN newsletter. It's free, no obligations. Go to vsin.com/newsletter. Bill A.D., the man of mystery, puts together something special. And by the way, you can get free plays in the newsletter. So check it out. It's absolutely free. You just enter your email address, and tomorrow morning, bam, it's right there. vsin.com/newsletter. Okay. We've got the media roundup from the big guy. Let's just get you updated. I got calls too. Look at the call on line one. The debate is whether or not to take it. Now, my man Ralph has been hanging for 1 hour and 20 minutes to talk about one subject in particular. We won't give it away, but here's what I will say. He's polarizing. And like, if you don't think this dude, I'll just keep it a mystery. If you don't think this particular person in the Mad Dog Sports Radio zeitgeist, if you don't think he moves the needle, you've lost your freaking mind, because he certainly does. That's all I'll say.
Okay, I'm not going to give away the topic, but what I would ask you is, you said the word polarizing. Polarizing would imply there are people on either side of the debate. So do you believe this person on line one has something negative or positive to say about your subject?
No. My assumption is Ralph on line one loathes the person he's calling in to talk about.
Okay.
But Ralph on a Friday night has been holding for an hour and 22 minutes to talk about this person. That is the definition of polarizing.
Yeah, look, hate will drive you to do crazy things. Drove some people to storm the Capitol on a January 6th one day. Hate will do some crazy things.
It absolutely will. Michigan State down 3. We're down 2 at the break. 14:57 to go. 42-39. Mississippi leads. We're at the break. Why don't you give me a halftime number before I get to these calls? We're at halftime. Tennessee's up 43-29 over Kentucky. You got a halftime number? My guess is it's Kentucky laying like 4.5, 5.
Kentucky laying 1.5. Well, hang on. My computer just crashed. I don't have that.
Hey, that makes 2 of us.
I saw 1.5 right before it crashed, but is that right? Let me pull up on my phone. Halftime line, half. It's still not posted. Vegas odds are always behind.
It's all good. You can find us on YouTube at VSiN Live. Give us a follow. Say hi to Ryan Smith, who does a yeoman's job for us. We appreciate him. All right, I mentioned now Ralph might be sleeping when I go to him, because if he is still conscious after an hour and 22 minutes to talk about this Donkey Kong, I'll be fascinated. So let's go to Austin, Texas, and say hi to Ralph. Ralph, hi.
Hey, yeah, no, I'm wide awake. First of all, thanks for remembering my name was Ralph, because earlier they had a guy named Raphael, and he kept calling him Raphael, and by the end of it, he was Rafi. So,
and by the way, Raphael has called. He's called the network for like 20 years, and Dog still does it.
I know. I know. It makes me laugh. It's very entertaining. But Mike from the OC. Oh my God! First of all, I don't know how old you guys are, but there used to be a character called Max Headroom on TV.
Yes.
And then there was a talk show host doll called the real guy, Wink Martindale.
Yes.
That's who Mike from the OC sounds like, number one. Number two, I think he used to be on Howard Stern's show years ago. He's like a professional call-in guy, I think, or a broadcast. I don't know. But all he does is regurgitate what everyone else has said. It's like, come up with an original thought, guy. It's like, I don't hate him. You know, he reminds me of Bobo from the Howard Stern show. And after this, I'll hang up and say, go Texas Tech.
All right, go Texas Tech. Now, here's the problem. And this is, Mike in the OC is polarized. Listen, when I logged in today, I heard Tori, and Tori he couldn't wait to get to the weekend. The last call he took was from Mike in the OC. You know what he is? He's ubiquitous. He's all over the place. And you like him, you hate him. Most people hate him. But I do know one thing. He's obsessed with the fact that his name just got brought up, whether it's brought up in a good light or a bad light.
Over under 8 minutes until he's dialing 888 Mad Dog 6. Over under. I'll give him like a full segment. So like 45 after. If he's not on hold, I lose the bet. I'm taking the under. I think he's definitely going to call in before the segment is over.
I think the big guy's onto something here. Here's the deal. If he's not listening, his ears are burning off his head, and he heard that.
Oh, I think there's a chance that he pays people to listen, and when his name is mentioned, to let him know, and then he'll call in. Hey guys, I heard I was needed. I heard you needed me right now. I'm on the line. What do you got? Because
let me just say this. Okay, go ahead.
I'll say sometimes he does call us and he doesn't have anything. He asks us what we want to ask him about. Like,
what are you guys up to? Not much work. I'll say this. I had to go down to Orange County over the weekend to pick up something, and like Orange County may as well be Topeka, Kansas. It's not in Los Angeles. It's not even close. And by the way, it doesn't even resemble Los Angeles. It is the ultimate just like commuter. Here's a couple of big companies, suburban, nothing, no character, nothing.
It is LA adjacent. It is not LA. It's, you know what it is? It's like Milwaukee to Chicago. It's the same vibe. Also, my favorite is every time you drive to the OC from LA, it'll claim it's an hour. And then 2.5 hours later, you're getting out of your car. There's always traffic. They can never calculate it right. It's too many people and not enough roads.
Well, and that's the reason, obviously, that the Anaheim Angels, the only reason they call themselves the Los Angeles Angels is for branding. So they can sell the franchise for a lot more money because, for example, when the Los Angeles Chargers were in San Diego, they were like 32nd as far as evaluation on team value. And now they're like 4th. And nobody cares about the Chargers in Los Angeles. It's just about the brand.
If I meet a Chargers fan, they will be the first Chargers fan I've ever met. I've never met anyone who roots for that team, and that includes in the city of Los Angeles.
You know what? That's not even being facetious. I don't know if I've met a Chargers fan. We had in Hermosa Beach, California, a couple of weekends ago, a St. Patrick's Day parade. St. Patrick's Day, big guy, not because it's my name. Underrated. That's people get into it. It's festive. It's under freaking rated.
But it's a young man's game and a young woman's game.
Oh, yeah. I'm not drinking during it.
No. Once you hit a certain age, you're not playing that ball game. Look, St. Patrick's Day, like age 19 through about 29, 30, awesome. Best day of the year. After that, the hangovers just last a little bit too long.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with you there. But my point is this. So, St. Patrick's Day Parade, Hermosa Beach, California. You know what the biggest chant was? EAGLES Eagles.
Oh, that's embarrassing. That's so sad.
You know what? I was laughing. I was like, I have no issues with people clowning this whack ass. And the reason I'm calling it whack, because Dustin knows I love California, is because I just did my taxes. And I have to tell you something. I think I got to move.
But hold on. Well, one, we've established you're moving. We've established you're moving. The problem is you've gotten accustomed to the lifestyle of California. And what does that mean? Well, that means good weather. That means, people who, how do I say this? Open-minded, how they look at the world. And that's why South America is the only place you can go. You can't go to one of these other states that have no income. You would lose your mind with the people of Florida. You can't handle the human beings that exist in the state of Florida. Texas doesn't feel your vibe. You've also got accustomed to water. I mean, South Carolina, but for you, it'd be going backwards in life. You already did everything you can do in South Carolina.
The Atlantic coast, I can't do.
And here's the beauty. Though. You go to South America, I don't think you have to pay any taxes. I'm pretty sure they don't have that down there.
Not if you're born in Michigan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You just go there.
You're just a gringo. You're just a gringo walking.
You are off the grid, my friend. There's no grid that you are on. Anyway, EAGLES Eagles. I was laughing my ass off. Yes, I understand it's the color scheme. And people are just like, we're Eagles fans. Let's go into St. Patrick's Day Parade. Well, that's a bad look for the Rams and Chargers. Last time I checked, Hermosa Beach is in Los Angeles.
No, I mean, that's just a bad, you know what it is? It's the modern day equivalent of someone coming into your country and waving their flag in your face. That's what that is. It's like planting the flag of Yugoslavia. I know it's not a country anymore, but it's the first one that came to mind. And planting that in your country and doing some cheer for it.
To use one of your analogies, it's coming home and the FedEx man is plowing.
Yeah, well, UPS usually.
888-623-3646. Getting back to the calls, and we got our media roundup, but just quickly update you if there is one needed. Mississippi extended to 7, 48-41, still 11:40 to play there.
But an update here, I did break this computer. No one tell the team at SiriusXM. It's saying source signal on other port. I don't know what that means, but I can't view any of my notes. So we're both down computers right now.
Nobody's in the building. We'll probably never see it. Let's say, and at the break, Tennessee's up 43-28 over Kentucky. So a nice start there in the first half for Rick Barnes in Tennessee. Let's go to Louisiana and say hi to our buddy Adam. Adam, welcome. What's up?
How's it going?
Good. Adam, how are you?
I'm doing well. Well, I just wanted to tell you why I think the play tonight is Purdue plus the points and the under.
Let's go.
So,
Why?
so if you look at it, the over/under, I think last I saw was 134.5. I don't know if it's moved within.
Yep,
the last
it's still
time I looked.
134. Still 134.5. You got it.
If you do the mathematics, combined, at least from the defensive metrics, combined defensively, both sides should average about 108 possessions over the course of this game. And if you assume a 60% field goal percentage for 2 and 30% from 3, which is actually a little higher than the average of both sides combined, and you assume that about a quarter of the shots are 3-pointers, that only puts you to about 121, 122 points. I think that if you also look at the fact both teams like to play slow, I think that favors a much closer game. Even if Houston is in control of the game for much of the time, I think Purdue probably hangs around at the very least. You know, I think Houston probably wins, but I would see it probably much closer to 5 or 6, in my opinion.
I got to be honest, that was a lot of numbers, but you said it with such conviction that I promise you, Adam in Louisiana, I am betting the – now, the big guy was already on the under, but he did so much homework that it would be disrespectful for me not to tail his underplay there.
I agree. I was on just the first half under. Now I'm going game with you. We're riding together. It's a family play.
100%.
Under. Also, he didn't add this, but I'll add it. Where's this game being played, Patrick? What kind of arena?
Oh my gosh! I believe Lucas Oil, which you might have built at this point. Football.
It was a football
stadium.
arena. So I mean, just consistent theme here. We're going under in Kentucky and Tennessee, under in that one. Why are we in a football stadium?
Continue with your calls. Big guy's got the media roundup. It's VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio.
all of the night's action. You're tuned in to VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio. Here's Patrick Maher and Dustin Swedelson.
Here comes Michigan State. They were just down 10. They're down 1 with 7:49, I believe, to play, and they've got the ball. So Michigan State, they haven't led in this game. Biggest lead for Ole Miss is 10. 5 ties. Michigan State starting to impose their will. The big guy, Dustin Swedelson, I'm Patrick Maher. Let's get back to your calls. We'll say hi here in Los Angeles to our buddy Art. Art, what's going on, man?
Yo, happy Friday, boys. Great to be on with you guys.
Yeah, good to hear from you, Art. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Patrick. Thank you. Dude, okay, so my man, the previous caller, that guy brought so much information. I was like, my head was spinning with all that information. Dude, my man brought all the defensive stuff. He brought all the stuff. Carried the one. I mean, dude, that guy knows his stuff, man. I was really impressed.
Hey. He was like your boy at the chalkboard with the beautiful mind. He was just connecting the dots.
You know what he was doing, Art? He was doing some PEMDAS, parentheses, exponents, multiplication, the whole deal.
Oh my God! And then Patrick's reaction was priceless. He's like, "Oh man, you really broke that down really well."
I don't even know what you're
that's
talking
great,
about, bro.
man.
But I'm gonna bet it just because you tried so hard. That's what I'm doing.
I believe you. That's all you can say is I believe you. I
Yeah,
believe you.
That's
totally.
right. That kudos to my man for sure. Hey guys, so really quick regarding Mike from the OC, didn't he actually come into studio one time?
Yeah, I broke down and I let him come in, and I regret it to this day.
And he was like G'd up from the feet up with Angels gear, if I remember correctly.
and he brought us peanuts. Yes, he brought us peanuts.
Oh, God bless him, man. Hey guys, really quick regarding the Lakers game last night. I don't know if you guys caught the end of it, man. It was a disaster. It was a comedy of errors. But basically, LeBron, he kind of brain farted on defense on one of the inbounds and allowed a three-point shot. And then on the inbound, he kind of like lazily brought the ball in. So I was pretty disappointed in that, man. That was a bad loss, especially going in the stretch run in the playoffs. So I just wanted to vent, man.
And Josh Giddey,
Giddey
didn't Josh Giddey hit the game winner on a? I didn't see the actual replay, but I know Giddey hit a game winner in that one.
He did. It was from like half court, man. That guy's doing
He
pretty
can play.
good. Good for the Bears. Yeah.
No, he's actually an Art. Have a good weekend, Giddey. Remember that was the Caruso trade. That's one that's worked out for both teams.
I agree.
Giddey had to get out of Oklahoma City for a multitude of reasons.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, not Golden situation.
Yeah, he had to get out of Dodge and just hard reset. But
You know what?
the Bulls are playing very well.
And really big for Josh Giddey moving to a new place, getting a new ID and becoming familiar with it and where the cutoff date is when it comes to age. That was big for Josh Giddey.
There you go. All right, let's see. We continue on the phones. And again, Michigan State now down 1, inbounding the ball. See if they can take their first lead. And it looks like they're going to go to the free throw line to try and do so. So we'll keep you updated with the Sweet 16. Again, you got 2 games starting up later tonight, which we'll get to. Let's say hi to our good buddy, Brooklyn J. Hi, Brooklyn J.
Yo, P, Dustin, what up? How
What
y'all
up,
doing,
though?
Man?
What up, though?
Well, what up, though? You already know. Listen, first of all, is it me or Mike from the OC and Cody Bellinger are the same people? Like, if you send out Thelma and Shaggy and Scooby and everybody and take off the mask and shit like that, like, you'll come up with either one of those dudes. And I'm just like, damn, like, they sound the same, though. Like,
By the way, people have been calling it literally ever since the call. Our guy called in to talk about Mike. Not only Brooklyn J, who's a longtime legend here, but many people calling. So I don't know what it is, Jay, but people want to call and talk about his ass.
oh man, yo, listen, we're doing him a justice right now. He's at home, like, you see, they love me.
You
Hey, man,
you could call and say you hate him, and he'd think it was love. That's true.
Yeah, man. Listen, I just had to chime in on that because that just made me crack up because he.
It's all good, Jay. Have a great weekend. Michigan State does take their first lead, 51-50, which was a good Van Halen album, I believe.
51-50?
Yep, 51-50. It's like a call to the cops or something. I don't know. Okay, media roundup. We've got Coach Matt McCall to talk the tournament coming up at the top of the hour. So let's get to the media roundup here. What happened across the sports landscape, including Mad Dog Sports Radio, big guy.
Okay, we'll begin Shine on Sports. Our guy Adam Shine kicked off his show today. Looking back at what happened last night and his ultimate takeaway with all the action in the Sweet 16, the Duke Blue Devils are winning it all. Adam Shine is all about Duke, thinks they're going to run right past Alabama, and it's inevitable. Duke with Cooper Flagg, best player in the country, they're winning the national title.
Hey.
That was what Shine opened with.
Well, they are favorites in the market, correct?
That would be correct. They are a little bit under 4-1.
Yeah, that's pretty short. But listen, they should have pummeled Arizona, and they let Arizona back in that game, to be fair.
Yeah, I don't think Arizona's very good. I don't love that. I think the Alabama game's fascinating. If I told you Alabama won the game, you wouldn't be surprised. If I told you Alabama lost by 25, you wouldn't be surprised.
Duke, Alabama? Yeah, no, 100%. What's the number, 7?
7, yes. 174.
Right, what else? What else happened across the media landscape?
All right, next show up here on Mad Dog Sports Radio. It was Beadle and Decker, and they opened with Michelle is currently in Phoenix. So she was driving back from L.A. to, I believe, San Antonio. Should have been a 5-hour drive. If it was 8 hours, she had to stop in Phoenix last minute as part of her road trip back home. So she had to do the show from Phoenix. She also drank a soda, which gave her a headache. And Cody spent the night watching baseball till 10:30 at night. That was what Beadle and Decker opened with today.
Solid open. Can't criticize it. Sometimes the soda will give you a headache. Watch out for that carbonation.
That sugar. That fake sugar is actually worse than the real sugar.
Yeah,
the fake sugar gives you
aspartame
the
will
headache.
get you every time. I hear you, Michelle. I hear you. What else is happening?
All right. Namesake of the channel, Mad Dog Unleashed, Christopher Russo. So he did not, and this shouldn't surprise anyone, he did not like the scheduling of the Sweet 16 games last night. Did not like the East Coast being boxed out with 2 late games starting at 10:30 Eastern the way they did. Said it was bad for East Coast fans. He also said people need to lay off Jon Calipari. I thought that was an interesting take. He said the sequence at the end of the game where things went the way they did and Cal didn't call a timeout. Cal said he always lets the kids play and doesn't call a timeout in this situation, and said that people shouldn't blame Calipari for the loss, even though they were up double digits with a few minutes to go.
Well, but that's the point. People clown Calipari because he always does it and
Yes.
hasn't learned from his mistakes.
Yeah. Yes.
That's legit. That's legitimately the point.
A little too much Nick Sirianni, less thinking talent take over. Maybe if we call timeout, we can think about what play we want to run here instead of settling for a step back jumper at the buzzer.
I mean, they were up 16 and coughed up a 13-point lead with like 4 minutes to
No,
go.
it's unacceptable. It's unacceptable.
That's completely unacceptable. With more talent.
And then Mad Dog Daily, that is Steve Torrey. He did a little bit of a combo here. He opened with Texas Tech, Arkansas finish, saying he's not going to kill Coach Cal for not calling a timeout, and then also discussed what's going on with Kevin Willard in Maryland and Villanova. And he thinks that people got a little too caught up in the story and made it a big deal.
Well, I mean, I was texting him about it. He was kind of into it too. I don't know if I.
Maybe my notes are wrong. Hold on. Maybe my notes are wrong. I have an arrow. We got too caught up. I think he meant we got too caught up with Cal. And then he said,
okay,
blaming Willard for the situation.
Yeah, because I think
That's
he was
what it
bitter
was.
about Willard. I totally agree. Coach Matt McCall joins us to talk Sweet 16 next here at VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio.
This is VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio. Here's Patrick Maher and Dustin Swedelson.
Okay, we might get one to come down to the wire here as Michigan State and Ole Miss are tied at 55. Ole Miss was up 10 at one point in this matchup, up 2 at the break. They've been leading most of the way, but here comes Michigan State imposing their will, and they're going to go to the free throw line tied at 55. So we'll keep you updated there as we welcome you back. Also, just get you updated, Tennessee had a great start to this game. Of course, Tennessee right now, 45-32 over Kentucky. Still 16:56 to play in the second. Now, it won't be as bad on the East Coast. I told you they'd be bitching about the timing. And to be fair to everybody on the East Coast, they kept on pushing those late games back last night, so I kind of understand it. They both went off, Dustin, like after 10.
No, it's dicey because, look, Dog's argument was, well, you're still starting those games at 4 o'clock local time because the whole deal is they're in San Francisco. They're on the West Coast. Let's start it at 7 o'clock when people get out of work and go to the arenas. Here's the reality I've learned living on the West Coast. People who live on the West Coast do not work normal hours. In fact, I think they barely work at all. So I think setting that game for 6 o'clock would have been perfectly fine, or 5:30. It wouldn't have affected anyone any differently.
Okay, fair enough. Michigan, Auburn yet to come. That's a 6:39 tip so far. We'll just say that. And then you got your late game in the Midwest with Purdue and Houston. Houston laying 8.5, 134.5 on the total. We're going to go under there, under in the first half as well. We are going to talk to Coach Matt. Oh, a 3 from Ole Miss. So they take a 1-point lead. We're going to talk to our buddy, Coach Matt McCall, who was kind enough to come in and hang out with us during the first round there at the Wynn in Las Vegas, the SiriusXM studios. He's back home with the family, of course. Spiel to 68, SiriusXM, NBC, Chattanooga, UMass, and we do say hi to Coach. We got him on the phone. Coach, how are you?
What's up, fellas? It was great to be with you guys last week. As Ole Miss, I think I'm behind you guys. Ole Miss just drilled a 3.
Wait till you see this next play.
Wait, hold on. Wait till you see this dunk you're about to see from it.
Oh my God. I don't really understand. Like, what is wrong with technology right now? Like, what are we doing, fellas? Like, what in the world is going on?
Wait till you see it. They got a turnover.
Yeah, we gotta get your reaction to what Michigan State does to Ole Miss here.
Oh, they got a turnover and they just
turnover. And I mean, that looked like Mo Peterson back in the day in circa 2000.
With the lefty.
That's what that looked like.
He looked
Jason
lefty.
Richardson.
Here we go. Here we go, Coach. Ole Miss, you're a little behind, so they came down, hit a 3, and then a jumper in the lane. So we're tied at 61-61. What have you seen thus far with Ole Miss and Michigan State? Ole Miss leading for most of this contest.
Yeah, man, guys, I think it was, like we were in Vegas last week. Ole Miss, everyone wanted to pick North Carolina to win that basketball game, and there was no way that was happening because if you look at it, North Carolina wasn't even supposed to be in the NCAA tournament, and I remember being in the Sportsbook and people cheering, thinking that North Carolina was going to win that basketball game. This team's good. Chris Beard's an outstanding head coach, and this team is for real. And if you think about, the fact that they're in the Sweet 16 right now, nobody's surprised by that. Nobody's surprised by that. So what a battle. What a battle we have on our hands here. It's fun, man. This is what the Sweet 16, the Elite Eight is all about. I mean, last night we had a great game, Texas Tech versus Arkansas, unbelievable game, but then we had 2 blowouts. We don't need blowouts. We need good basketball games. That's what we need.
Okay, so winner of this game, though, Coach, is going to get Auburn or Michigan. And let's just Auburn, for example. Ole Miss played them twice, and the one in Oxford, Auburn completely boat raced them on their own floor. Is there any reason to believe that Ole Miss could have a different result, and how do you think Michigan State would match up with Auburn?
Oof. Well, first of all, you guys are writing off Michigan is what it sounds like. I mean, let's not count out Dusty May and his squad and the job that he's done this season, and Big Ten tournament championship and everything like that. So I think that's the game of the night. There's no question about it. This game has been outstanding, but I think the Michigan-Auburn game tonight is the game of the night, and we'll see what happens. Can Ole Miss give Auburn a run for the money? This is, to me, the next game that's getting ready to transpire. in terms of Michigan and Auburn. Whoever wins that game, I think I'm stamping them to the Final Four. That's how I feel about this. I'm stamping them to the Final Four. I think this is the game of that region. You see what Michigan's done coming out of the regular season where it didn't end great. We had the logo gate. We had the whole deal that happened at Michigan State. It didn't end great. And then to see this team where they're playing right now, coming off a Big Ten tournament championship and, winning basically 5 games in a row here, they're playing at a high level. They've got their unselfishness. This is what they're doing. So to me, who wins this game tonight against Michigan versus Auburn, that's the team that's going to go to the Final Four. Even if we end up with Michigan State in the Elite Eight, I still think whoever wins the game versus Michigan and Auburn tonight ends up in the Final Four.
Our pal, Coach Matt McCall. It's funny. You said writing off a team. I don't know if you saw Nate Oates after Alabama beat BYU last night. He said, quote, "We've got to play better against Duke," which is true. The only problem is Duke hadn't played Arizona yet.
You think? But if you make 25 threes, you'll be just fine. Don't worry about it.
That was crazy.
Take 51 threes and make 25, and you'll be just fine. You'll be able to hang with the Blue Devils. Look, Duke's the 2 best teams in the country, in my opinion, are Duke and Florida. Those are the 2 teams that I had in my Final Four when the bracket came out. We'll see if we get to that, but Florida's on a different level. Duke's on a different level. For Alabama to win this game, having been there before, having been to a Final Four before, I do think that they have to make shots, not at the level that they made them yesterday, but for him to even say that, he knows what he was up against. He knows who he was playing against. He knows he was playing against the Dukies, and it's going to be a lot of fun tomorrow.
Coach, the total in that game is 174. Duke is a 7-point favorite. From a coaching perspective, Duke's elite on both ends. Like, they're a great defensive team. I know we talk about the offense all the time, but they're also great on that side of the ball. Is there any way to actually slow down what Alabama does? Because based on watching them, the more and more I watch, I realize they get it across half court in like 3 seconds, and they're hoisting up a shot like 3 seconds after that. Is there really a way to slow down that offense aside from them just missing shots?
I think the biggest key is when shots go up, send 2 back or send 3 back. Don't send multiple guys to the offensive glass. When you shoot, get back and set your defense. Set your defense and understand where the ball is coming from. Make or miss. You know how fast Alabama wants to play with. You have to get back and you have to set your defense. That's the biggest key in the game. If you're normally a team that wants to send 3 guys to the offensive glass, you're not sending 3 guys to the offensive glass. You may be sending 2 because you have to sprint back and set that defense. I mean, that's the biggest key. And this is, when you look at it for Duke, and we thought we would see a test in Madison Square Garden against Illinois. We didn't get it. They blew them out. Like this is the one. This is the one where, okay, you got now it's the big boys. Now it's Alabama. And had Arkansas won last night, think about that, fellas. We would have had 3 teams from the SEC already in the Elite Eight. That would have been unbelievable. In night 1 of the Sweet 16, to have 3 SEC teams in the Elite Eight. So for Duke, this is like the litmus test. Like, okay, yes, you guys are terrific. Yes, you played a difficult schedule. Yes, you beat Auburn on your home floor early in the year, but now it's a neutral. Here we go, Alabama in the Final Four last year. Like, let's go. Let's see how for real you are, because everyone keeps saying how the SEC is just flexing their muscles.
Coach Matt McCall joining us, Field of 68, SiriusXM, of course, Chattanooga, UMass. So I wanted to ask you to be objective about what you saw with Arkansas and Texas Tech. So Arkansas up 13, 4:22 to play. I know you can't be overly critical. Did you have a problem with how Coach Cal handled the final 4:22 of that game?
You know what? It's the biggest, issue with coaches in terms of, do you foul, do you not foul?
Right.
And you have to have a philosophy. And if you have a philosophy, you have to stick to it. And if it doesn't work on that level of stage, it's going to be criticized. It didn't work. He didn't foul, and it didn't work. And the game goes into overtime. Then he didn't call timeout on the last possession in overtime to get a better shot than they got. So there's a couple plays there coming out of there. I mean, but who am I to, criticize a guy that's in the Naismith Hall of Fame? But those two possessions, foul up 3, because 9 times out of 10, it works out into your favor. And then if you don't like how the floor looks, when you have the last possession of the game, and I get it, coming down, broken floor situation, you have an unset defense, you don't want to call a play because you feel like one of your guys is going to go make a play. But when that shot clock or that game clock gets below, 7, 6 seconds, whatever it was, and you don't like how the floor looks because the defense is now set, now you're going to call a timeout and drop a play.
Now, Coach, they did blow a big lead, a double-digit lead with a few minutes to go late. So before we even get to that situation, do you attribute to the Razorbacks not knowing how to play up late in a game of that magnitude, or do you credit Texas Tech for finding a way to adjust and hit key shots there in the second half?
I mean, I think it's a little of both. I mean, how do you handle when you have a lead late in the game? Or if you're Texas Tech, Grant McCaskill and his squad, I mean, that team is battle-tested. I mean, that's a really good basketball team. So I do think it's a little bit of both in terms of if you're Arkansas, value possessions coming down the stretch. You have to value possessions. Get great shots, run good offense. We have a lead. The game is in our hands. This is what we have to do. But Texas Tech being down, man, they value possessions more. There's no question about it, that they were getting better shots and to get themselves back in the game. Let's not forget that Grant McCaskill is a guy, when he was at North Texas, the game was slowed down, playing less possessions, scoring in the 50s, and he just won a Sweet 16 game, scoring in the 80s. So credit him, credit his staff for the job they did to be able to move on to the Elite Eight. Having 3 guys yesterday that went for 20-plus points, J.T. Toppins, Williams, and Anderson, all 3 of those guys go for over 20. So I just think when you're at that point in the game, if you're Arkansas, the valuing of those possessions is the most critical piece of the basketball game.
Michigan State just got a tough bucket in the lane and then came back down the other way, grabbed the defensive board. Izzo calls timeout, 53 seconds to play. Michigan State leads 65-63 with the ball over Ole Miss. We'll keep you updated there. Got 3 games, 1 going on and 2 that we want to talk to Coach Matt McCall about. Rick Barnes, great first half, and they've continued into the second half. Tennessee leads 55-42. Coach, what have you seen so far in this matchup?
I mean, look, Tennessee is a team to me that was not going to lose to the Kentucky Wildcats 3 times in a row. They didn't have their best stuff the last 2 times these teams played. They have their best stuff tonight. The biggest key for this Tennessee team is Chaz Lanier, even though he's 0 for 4 from the 3-point line right now, and they still have a 13-point lead. Like, if you think about that, I said this going into the game, the only way that Kentucky knocks off Tennessee is if Chaz Lanier does not have his best stuff. He has struggled from behind the 3-point line. Zakai Ziegler does have 13 points in this one. Gainey has been the X factor for this Tennessee team. Gainey's been the X factor of the entire NCAA tournament. But this Tennessee team, to me, just seems determined. They seem like they're on a mission, and Kentucky struggled. Look, when Kentucky's having a great game, they're making threes. Right now, they're 3 for 12, shooting 25% from the 3-point line. Not their best stuff, not their best night. In order for them to pull this thing out, they're going to have to start making some 3-point jump shots.
Winner of that one has Houston-Purdue. How would you like to be Kelvin Sampson? And you're trying to go, to another Final Four here. Standing in your way is a Purdue team that I know you're really high on. And oh, by the way, this matchup in the Sweet 16 is going to be a home game because it's in Indianapolis. What do you think of the matchup, Cougars and the Boilermakers?
Look, I think Braden Smith has had this look in his eyes. We talked about it last week when I was there with you guys in Vegas. But the biggest key to me in this game is Fletcher Loyer, because they're going to trap Braden Smith anytime they set a pick and roll, anytime they run any kind of dribble handoff or screening action. Braden Smith is going to be under duress. And who's going to be the recipient of him being under duress? it's Fletcher Lawyer. Bottom line, 100%. He's the guy right now that needs to have a big-time game. Trey Kaufman-Wren leads them in scoring, no question about it. They need him as well. But Lawyer, to me, is the X factor in this game. He's been a little bit up and down this season, but if he has a big game, Purdue can knock off this Houston team. I'm not saying it happens. I got Houston moving on in this matchup. But if there is any way it does happen, it's because of Fletcher Lawyer 100%.
Coach, have you talked to the wife and kids about potentially moving to College Park?
I mean, somebody's got to, right? I mean,
listen.
got
Your boy did not handle that well. Let's be fair.
He did not handle that great. If you're a fan of Maryland, if you're a Maryland basketball fan, you'd rather him handle that like Will Wade handled it. I've talked to him. Yes, I have. They reached out to me. No, I haven't talked to my agent. I need to talk to my wife. Really? Like that's what we're doing here? Like and he said the same thing 3 years ago when he was at Seton Hall.
He did.
The exact same thing. I need to talk to my wife. I haven't talked to my agent. First of all, his agent is earning his commission. Let's just start there. Like, his agent is earning his commission because he keeps talking about his agent in these press conferences. Don't think he handled it great. Look, Will Wade, say what you want about the guy. The guy is real, and he's authentic, and he's not sitting here saying, no, yes, I have talked to NC State. Yes, I have. And you know what? He was saying it before the NCAA tournament. And kudos to him, and his team responded and won a game in the NCAA tournament. To see Kevin Willard handle this whole situation, his team did not perform well last night, where that may have been a distraction. That may have cost them this game. I'm not saying they would have beaten Florida, but there was definitely something there that this team did not play like the Maryland Terrapin team that we've seen all season long that looked like one of the best teams in the Big Ten. Credit Florida for the way they played in that game, but you also have to wonder if the distractions from Maryland and Kevin Willard had an impact on how his team performed yesterday.
Hey, by the way, no surprise, Michigan beats the press up 67-65 with a beautifully drawn inbounds from Izzo. They're going to go to the stripe up to 26.9 to play, 67-65 overall miss. We'll keep you updated. Go ahead, big guy.
Speaking of Florida, Coach, and you're very familiar with that program, it's hard to fade them at this point. They're the rare combination of talent and peaking at the right time. If you're going to look at the rest of the field, if there was one team that Florida should be scared of, who is that one matchup that is tough for the Gators with the way they like to play?
I mean, I would have said it was Maryland 100% last night, and I thought Maryland could give them a game. I think the only other team that I'm thinking about is Duke, and we're going to see, tomorrow, just in terms of the matchup with Alabama, can Duke get past Alabama? That's the only other team, because I think they can match up with them size-wise. What is Florida going to do with Cooper Flagg? How are they going to defend him? I think that's the one. Now that they got past Maryland, I'm looking at the national championship game, lining up and playing against the Duke Blue Devils. That's the only other team in this field, unless Florida completely trips over their own feet. I said it to you guys last week. I thought the UConn game versus Florida would be close, and it was. And we knew Danny Hurley would have his team prepared to play in this basketball game. But now that they've knocked off Maryland, I just feel like Texas Tech, yes, I respect what they've done up to this point in time. I think Florida has way more talent in this basketball game, and the next team to me that can match up with them is the Duke Blue Devils.
But not biased with your dad being a great football player and you winning championships there, isn't it? But no bias. No bias.
No bias.
You're the best, Coach. I hope you had a good time in Vegas. We love seeing you. Coach Matt McCall, Field to 68, NBC, of course, SiriusXM. Go enjoy the rest of these games, and we will talk to you very soon, Coach. Thank you.
Yeah, fellas, would love to touch base next week from the Final Four. I'll be out there, so let me know what time, what's the day, and we'll break it all down.
No, we will for sure. We'll be talking to you next week. There goes Coach Matt McCall, who we always appreciate. We got a former Chattanooga and UMass coach just as a friend, which you like to see.
I mean, once you hang out with someone in Vegas, I feel like you have a different bond too. That city does something to you. Once you bond in Sin City, you're bonded for life. Now, sometimes it's because you need the same prescriptions, but in this case, he's just a good guy.
Yeah, he is a good guy. I said it just because, I called Izzo the best coach remaining in the tournament, but Ole Miss, Michigan State's up 2. Michigan State inbounding the ball. Ole Miss put up press on, and the play that he drew up, Izzo, to break the press was exquisite. And, you could just see everything working perfectly. Now, Ole Miss did get a bucket. Izzo's going crazy. 69-67, 13.9. So Michigan State's going to have another inbound situation where they're going to have to break another press from Ole Miss.
Now, they used a lot of clock there because Michigan State's defense able to knock the ball loose. It went out off Sparty. We're down to 13.9 left. It's a 2-point game, but you're dead on. Izzo's got something ready for every situation. Even at this point in his career, he's so prepared. Those kids go there because they know he's going to push them. And when it comes to these moments, they've been practicing all season long. I don't trust Ole Miss to get a shot here. I think Sparty's holding on. We're not going to overtime.
As my man George Blaha would say, longtime voice of the Detroit Pistons, my man's got a trick bag. Not a bag of tricks. He's got a trick bag. That's one of my favorite things ever. Back in the day when your boy was getting started in radio, I was a producer of the Detroit Pistons games, but not really. I just ran the board like a donk. And I used to talk down the line to my guy, George Blaha, who's a freaking legend. And he was talking about Chauncey Billups. Billups goes to the basket. He's got a trick bag.
I never met anyone. I never met anyone with a trick bag. Never met anyone with a trick bag. I did date a girl with a trick drawer. It was trick or treats with her drawer, depending on what could come out of there. And not a lot of it was good for me.
What was in the drawer? I don't understand.
You don't understand?
Was in the drawer?
Some trick or treat toys for the young lady.
But
drawer next to her bed.
If she's pulling out toys, wouldn't that be good for you?
That means I'm not involved in the conversation.
Oh,
I'm
so
on the bench.
You were dating a girl that had sex toys, but she only took the sex toys when you weren't there? She only took them out when you weren't there?
No, sometimes I was there and I have to sit on the bench.
Okay. All right. Well, we got there. We definitely got there.
Hey, we're a team. We're a team.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. That was team.
Unlike her, you helped me get to the finish line.
Yeah, she could have helped out a little bit more. Oh, that is funny. Well, are you prepared for the response?
Oh, I expect fireworks. I anticipate this to be feisty because, look, a lot of smack's been talked on this program.
It has. And listen, it's polarized, right? It's divided right on this show. Michigan hits both their free throws. They're up 4 with 11 seconds to play. That should ice it. Let me walk you through it as Ole Miss is going to inbound the basketball. They're going to run it up here and attempt the three-pointer, which they do. It's a miss. They get the rebound, but it's going back Michigan State's way with 4.5 to play. So Michigan State's going to win by Michigan State's going to shoot free throws. Michigan State's going to cover.
Oh, wow. This is big. Wow.
Only way Michigan State – hold on. They're up 4. They go up 7. This close 3.5?
3.5. Yep. 3.5.
This part of the game is important to some people. At VSiN Live on YouTube, you want to follow along with us every night here on VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio. It is going to be Michigan State's ball. This is a very important timeout that's being called here. Actually, the officials are going to the scorer's desk. It looks like they're going to take a look to see whose ball this is, and they are officially reversing the call. And they are going to say, no, I think they're keeping it. Are they saying?
I saw 2 thumbs up. I saw 2 thumbs up for jump ball, and it's
Michigan State's ball. So this is very key because, again, it closed 3.5. It's 4. 71-67 Michigan State. Michigan State inbounds the ball, and they're going to go to the free throw line with 4.2 to play. If they hit both, they can't not cover.
There's not enough time. 4.2 left, not enough time.
And they hit one, they go up 6. And 4 seconds is plenty of time for Ole Miss to come down and hit a 3, which is pointless for Ole Miss, not pointless for some in Vegas and around the country.
That would be a dagger. That would be a dagger if you laid it here with Sparty. But by the way, it would be another favorite covering here. This game, though, is going to go under, it looks like. We had 4 overs yesterday. This game, barring something crazy, should go under, right? 139 we're at right now. Closed 144.5.
Tom Izzo is taking this team to the Elite Eight. That is fascinating. And they hit the first free throw, so Michigan State up 5. Up 6. No, up 5. Oh, I did math poorly, didn't I?
3, 4, 5. Yeah. Now they're up 6.
I did poor math. They're up 6.
You know what? But I'm stupid.
This
I didn't catch you.
4.2 seconds is humongous. Let's walk through it. Here comes Ole Miss. Down 6, 3.5's the number. Pull up for the
Missed
3.
it. Oh, you missed. It bounced. It looked like it was going to bounce off the rim, and it just died and dropped in.
It bounced off the back of the rim, went straight up and down. And there's no reason to even shoot the shot. The game is over. It literally just throwing up a prayer at that point. And Michigan State backers laying 3.5, lose their bet. Ole Miss backers catching 3.5, win on a absolutely useless 3-pointer that bounced off the back of the rim, went straight up, and then came straight down.
Call Bonnie Tyler. That was total eclipse of the heart there. It went from it looked bad, it's a miss. I've never seen a shot sit on the rim like that and just die and then just roll back in. And just like that, you take the dog, you're happy. You laid the points, you're miserable. You thought you had a win, and Ole Miss hits a shot that doesn't matter at all.
That right there. That's baseball, Susan. That's literally baseball, Susan. That is a tough way to lose your Michigan State bet. And bad math by me at the end, which I apologize. 8th win this season after trailing by 10-plus points. That's the most amongst major conference schools. Michigan State, this is a resilient bunch. And you can see the whole entire team. Tracy Wolfson is interviewing Izzo. Izzo's got tears in his eyes. The whole entire team is surrounding him. It's a unit.
It's different when the coach is someone who's going to be hard on you. I feel like that bond is a little bit different because we see guys that they go to these places and they want it to be cushy, they want it to be fun, and you'll have all that in the NIL world now across the board. But the difference with Tom Izzo is he only wants guys that he can push, that he can coach hard, so it makes these moments. When they win a game like this, when they're not expected this season to be that good because it's not that talent of a roster, makes it a little bit bigger for them in their bond.
We walked you through it. That was a whole. Now, I didn't bet the game, and I was about to, but I got it in late. So I did one of the things where it's like 1 minute to go. I put fire bet, and it said, "You're too late. The game's already started."
Yeah, okay.
And I'm so happy because I was going to put a dime on Michigan State lane. And if I just lost on that whack ass bounce 10 feet up in the air 3-pointer, which by the way was taken like 5 feet behind the 3-point line, so it was a total prayer.
It was a prayer.
Inconsequential, but it was consequential to some.
I would be bitter. I'd be bitter if I laid the wood, and if I was someone who took the points, I would go play the lottery today because you got very lucky at the end of that game.
That was wild. It was exciting to watch. I feel badly for Michigan State backers, and congratulations to Ole Miss backers. We do have, and when we come back, we've got plenty to do here on the program, including we're going to get a reaction from one of the most polarizing figures that you're going to see around these parts. It's VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio.
This is VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio with Patrick Meagher and Dustin Swedelson. head all night long. This is VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio. Here's Patrick Maher and Dustin Swedelson.
Hey, it's going to be a busy weekend. You've got obviously college hoops. You've got Major League Baseball. You've got the NBA. You've got an NHL. You've got golf. You've got everything. You got horse racing with big races, Arkansas Derby, the Florida Derby, of course. So make sure you sign up right now to become a VSiN Pro for $158 for the first 30 days. It's a great deal. You get everything we offer. But if you just want the plays, $1.58 is a great deal. Go to vsin.com/subscribe. Give it a try over the weekend. See if you like it. vsin.com/subscribe. And you have to use the promo code SIRIUS. Okay, we welcome you back here. Dustin Swedelson, I'm Patrick Maher. Michigan State beat Ole Miss 73-70. They don't cover the 3.5. An inconsequential 3 for some at the end there. Not for the backers of Michigan State and Ole Miss. Ole Miss got a lucky 3 at the end as time expired to cover the 3.5. Michigan State does not cover, but they do advance. So Tom Izzo doing the damn thing. You could tell he was very emotional after the game. His whole entire team around him. You know, you like certain teams more than others, and you can tell he really likes this team. Tennessee has dominated the whole entire game against Kentucky. That's just the bottom line. Rick Barnes is one of the best defensive coaches we've seen in college hoops, and they've held Kentucky to 55 thus far. At Tennessee, 5 minutes to play, up 15, 70-55. We will have analysis. They've moved back Michigan, Auburn, a couple of minutes. So now 10 o'clock East, 7 West for the tip of Michigan, Auburn. Purdue and Houston are going to tip at 7:09. All right, let's get back to the calls. 888-623-3646. We had a gentleman call and held on for a minute 22 just to say an hour and 22, I should say. Yeah, good correction. An hour and 22. Literally, Ralph held just to say, what's the deal with Mike in the OC? And that's what I've said the whole entire time. He's a polarizing figure. And then people just started lining up to give their opinions. Now, he's even divisive on the show. I like him. Fair. Dustin can't stand him. And so
drives me insane.
He drives him insane. I don't know. I think I like his goofy ass. And a little reaction to the reaction. Here's Mike in the OC. Hi, Mike.
Unbelievable. First of all, congrats to Izzo. He gets it done with not the greatest talent. He's a great coach. Simple as that, Patrick. He's old-fashioned, teams first. Yeah. So congrats to Tom. Congrats to you, all the Michigan State people. Yeah. So I'm minding my own business. I'm at the market, the beautiful Italian, getting her produce, getting her food, helping her out, trying to stay out of her way, not doing a great job. And I get home. I look at Twitter, and I go, yeah, I was going to listen to you guys. I go home. The great Captain Foul, nice guy, one of the Fouls, whatever, one of Babchick's crazy guys. He goes, Mike, they're talking about you. I go, what now? So he goes, tune in and blah, blah. So I go back, and this Ralphie, wait, isn't that guy the Colorado mascot? I don't know what the hell he is. Well, Patrick, what are these people? What's the problem? Is it jealousy? Is it you have no life? Is it like you get out of a crawl to your hole? What is the problem?
Well, no. Let me ask you.
I like your
we can't. Let's not answer this. Let's have you answer.
All right.
What is it about you? Do you think that drives people crazy?
I talk a lot. I go from one topic to the next. By the way, I'm always original. I don't know what the guy's talking about. I am as original. I never repeat my topics. Well, rarely. I should say never. I don't know how many calls I've made. Anyhow, but I really am. Because I could go from sports to Michigana to this, entertainment, to talking about Dustin, to talking about, whatever. It's just like, it's a stream of consciousness. People like just that nice, how you doing? Here's my topic. Let's talk about the Rams backfield. It's just different. But, then again, I'm encouraged because by you guys, the great hosts on these channels that kind of let me go. They let me go, and people some love it, some hate it. No one's in the middle.
Some love it. Do some love it, Mike? How many people tell you they love you?
I don't know. Yeah, she's laughing over the beautiful Italian. I don't know. She says she loves me.
So your answer as to why people have issues with you is that you're just an electric caller.
No, I don't think I'm electric. Listen, I don't know what I didn't deal with this misunderstand, but I kind of tailor my call to different shows, right? Because I know the way Adam runs his show, I know the Russo runs his show. In fact, I got to say, you probably encouraged it to be as crazy as anybody. Because you let it go. We had conversations. We're sitting there talking about Dustin working for Shine, Bob Stewart working for the Angels, me,
You
meeting
talked
Tito
about
Gas
that.
and
We
meeting
didn't.
Jimmy Connors. Right. Remember, Patrick, when I gave my top 10 list for each team? Give me your favorite Angels. Give me your favorite Rams. Give me your favorite Lakers. And we did it one night. Who else does that? So it is what it is. I guess you created some sort of monster. It is what it is. All I know is I have a good heart, good person. I'll do anything for my friends, my family. I'm there. And if you don't like it, you don't like it. You can't please everybody, Patrick.
Later. Yeah,
My God.
that's a good point. I don't know if we solved anything. But that's what it is. He basically just said people hate me because I'm the best. And that's why people hate him.
He's a volume shooter. We're not going for quality here. He's going for quantity. He's going for consistency. I would tell Mike this. I do admire one thing about him, and it's that with all the hate he gets, and there's a lot of it, of which the haters he has, of which there are many, he is undeterred. It does not affect his mood. He goes on with his life. He calls into the next show. He'll be on with Tom Byrne after us in about an hour talking about God knows what, UCLA basketball, even though they're not in the tournament. I have to give him credit in that regard, is that he's completely unaffected from the fact that nobody likes him, myself included.
All right, Michigan, the 5 seed, Auburn, the 1 seed. Let's get into this matchup in the South. Look, we've been waiting for the turnovers to kill Michigan. I think this is where finally you start to see them cough it up, loose with the ball. Thomas Gable, who came on earlier, he runs the race and sportsbook at the Borgata. He had this number set at 8, so it did feel a little bit long, a little steep at 8.5. I'm going to lay off the side itself and probably go with the under. I like unders in both the games coming up here in the late window. Michigan, Auburn, 156.5. We'll go under there, and we can get to Purdue, Houston. But before we do you have a take on Michigan, Auburn here?
Yeah, I laid the 8.5 with Auburn. I just look at Michigan. Look, they rely so much on those 2 7-footers, but Auburn's got plenty of size, and I question about Michigan's ability to shoot beyond the arc with Auburn if Auburn's able to knock down those threes. We're talking Denver Jones is almost 42% from 3. Kelly's 39. Baker Mazzara is 38.7%. They have Pettiford, who shoots just about 38%. Guy dropped 23 versus Creighton. I just think there's too many shooters from the perimeter for Auburn to go to, and I think they're going to converge on Janai Broome, and he's a pretty selfless player. He has no problem kicking it out, letting his teammates hit big shots, and I think Auburn's just got too much depth. They're way more balanced. At some point, Michigan's issues with turnovers has to bite them in. What is the phrase? Is it bite them in the foot? It's not. I almost said bite them in the foot.
Bite them in
What
the
is
ass?
the phrase? Maybe that's it. That might be it. Bite them in the ass. Yeah. Either way, they're going to turn the ball over. They're sloppy with the basketball. I'm sloppy with the sentence. We're laying it with Auburn.
See, because what happens, that's what I'm saying about thinking. You go to an analogy and then you don't know what it is, and instead of just going, then you circle back, and then you get frustrated that you couldn't remember the analogy, and now you're taking too much time on it, and then when you go to finish your point, you trip over the point. That's what happens.
Yeah, but what is bite them in the foot? Where did that come from? That's not a thing anyone has ever said until I just invented it. So if you're going to use it in the future, I would like it attributed to me.
Okay, well, I'm sure people are riveted. Purdue and Houston, big guy. Houston, same number, 8.5. This one, you know who scared me off of Houston here? Coach Matt McCall. He is jockeying this Purdue team in the back.
Stop. Purdue stinks. Purdue stinks. Purdue stinks. I don't know what we're talking about here. They beat High Point, who nobody had watched before. They beat a McNeese team riding high off the upset over Clemson. That was a great letdown spot. I don't see how Purdue hangs with Houston. Houston is so much better defensively. They can shoot with them if they need to, but the reality is the Houston defense is going to be the X factor in this one. You look at Purdue and their issues. They have to outscore teams from 3. I'll bring it up again. I'll close the show the same way I started. They're playing in a football stadium. I am not trusting the threes to fall here for Braden Smith and Trey Kaufman-Wren. I think that's going to limit them offensively. Because of that, the run is over. We're going to go first half under on the Houston Cougars.
All right. Go full game under as well. I think Calvin Sampson is going to, listen, 8.5. It's interesting. There's a mirror there with those two numbers. The perception is obviously Auburn is going to pummel and Houston's going to pummel. 8.5 is a big number. Remember, Duke closed 9.5, correct, and won by 7 when they were up big in the second half. So that's why you have to be careful with the back door.
Yeah, in more ways than once.
Correct. You're talking sex.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Right. Make sure it's clean.
Right. 888 Mad Dog 6, 888-623. I don't. It's late. I'm tired.
It's Friday. You don't have a computer.
It's Friday. I don't have a computer. Been raw dogging the show the whole time. Look, I mean, okay, I'll come back with the calls. But let me just say, I didn't call for any of this. When I come back, we'll close tabs and take your calls. But when I go to the calls, please understand, I didn't ask for any of this. I was minding my own business on a Friday. That's all I'm going to tell you. It's VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio.
This is VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio with Patrick Maher and Dustin Swedelson. This is VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio with Patrick Maher and Dustin Swedelson.
Okay, 2 more left to go. Sweet 16. You're about 10 minutes away from tip. Michigan, Auburn. Auburn laying 8.5, 156.5. And then 720 West, 1020 East. Purdue, the 4 seed against Houston, the 1 seed. Houston also 8.5, 134.5 on the total. Michigan State advances. What a job by Izzo. They were down for most of this game, came back and beat Mississippi 73-70. A useless three-pointer at the end does cover for Mississippi. Michigan State backers got to be bitter. And about $1.51 to go. Tennessee, Kentucky, 74-60. Tennessee leads by 14. They've led by doubles essentially the whole entire game. So that is Friday night slate as far as the Sweet 16.
Where are we at? We're at 138. I have under 144.5. We have a minute 18 left. With free throws, this could get dicey.
The free throw, that's always the case in these games, as I don't know if you're going to get many free throws. 14, $1.50 to go. You might, just because it's the last game of the year for Kentucky.
They're not quitting.
We will keep you updated. Let's do this. Let's mix in calls, and we'll close tabs to kind of intersperse. And we'll start with the calls. We'll go Anthony in Los Angeles. Hi, Anthony. How are you?
I'm good. I'm not here to talk to either of you. I'm just going to admit it. I'm talking to Mike in the OC because obviously he's listening. Okay, that's all he does. And I cannot let him get away with this. Mike in the OC, I remember when you first decided that you were going to make Mad Dog Radio your obsession, and you just pummeled the show as much as possible, and it got to your head that you were some great Hall of Fame caller because you're always on and people know who you are, to the point where just a few weeks ago you suggested that someone should write a book about Mad Dog Radio and you should be a titular main character. You did say that. That's where it's gone. But I have to tell you, Mike, it doesn't mean you're a great caller. You're on the show because you call relentlessly and you don't do anything egregious to ever get blocked. So no, there's not some legion of fans who love you. That's not the case at all. Okay, as a matter of fact, you just have to live with it. Okay, and I know I'm saying this, and it's only going to feed you. And it's like you're Colin Robinson from What We Do in the Shadows. You're an energy vampire. That's what you do to us, feeding off of all of this. And I get it. But I can't let you get away with it.
All right, there it is. So that's not necessarily a fan, as Mike and the OC taking shots. Let's close tabs, and we'll keep mixing in the calls, big guy. What do you got?
Let's see. Happy 28-3 day to those who celebrate. 28-3, 328, March 28th. You know what that is? That is celebration of Super Bowl LI, the 2016 season where the Patriots scored 25 consecutive points to come back and win in overtime over your boy Kyle Shanahan, Dan Quinn, and the Atlanta Falcons.
I just got confused. I'm like, they played the Super Bowl that year at the end of March? What the hell? What happened there? All right. What else? What else you got?
BKJ called into the show. We always appreciate Brooklyn J. He mentioned from Scooby-Doo, Shaggy, Scooby, and Thelma. The reality is Thelma gets a lot of hype these days, but Daphne could get it.
All right. Let's keep closing tabs before we get out of here. We don't have tips and the final 2 matchups of the Sweet 16. We did lay out the numbers for you. 888-623-3646. We'll say hi to our buddy Brian in Florida. He joins us here at VSiN Live. Hi, Brian.
Hey, good evening, gentlemen. Good evening. I got 3
Good
things.
evening. Good evening.
Mike is electric. He's kind of like a Bill Walton on the radio world. You don't know where it's going. It's always out there. Can you bring it back? Probably not. Just got to cut him off.
Yes, that's
Number
true.
2.
Yes.
Patrick, don't download porn. It's bad for your computers. The third thing.
Yeah.
Listen, Dustin's been on fire all night with his one-liners. And Patrick, you glossed right over this. Bonnie Tyler totally flips in the heart. What the hell is that, Dustin?
I mean, I needed a way to describe that. We went from one scenario to the complete opposite scenario. So I came up with that one on the fly.
Dude, don't get serious, bro. I mean, come on. Dude, you gotta have
I
some
don't
feel.
know.
You got like you literally explained to him your joke.
He said, "What the hell?" I thought it wasn't my best, but it wasn't my worst. I've done much worse over the last 2 hours and 50 minutes.
All right, let's close some tabs, some more before we get out of here. What else you got?
Shout out to my tax guy, Ed, who just emailed me how much money I owe. I believe he's listening right now in the car. You owe a lot of money in taxes because you live in California. Did you know you wouldn't owe that to the U.S. government if California would break off and become its own country? Do you think it's possible? California by itself would be the 5th largest economy in the world. 5th largest in the world, trailing only the U.S., China, Japan, and Germany. That is just the state of California.
That's hilarious. Dude, there's a guy running out here, the governorship of California, and he said his first objective is going to be to eliminate state income tax. How does that guy not win on a unanimous vote?
Dude,
like, forget everybody votes with their pocketbook. If you're telling us you're going to eliminate state income tax, let's get that guy in office. We're Sacramento. Let's go.
Go look at your paycheck. Go look at your W-2 and add that state money back into it at the end. Tell me it doesn't make a difference in your life. Also, I would like to report on the show based on something that went down last night. I received my first pedicure. And I have to tell you, I am now a pedicure guy. This is going to be a regular thing in my life. When I put my shoes on this morning, I could feel things in my sock, in my shoes, in my steps that I hadn't felt in years. I have a baby's foot on the bottom of me right now, and I love it.
Okay, yeah. So you and your girlfriend had a pedicurist come to your apartment and give you 2 couples petties, and you're saying that your report is you enjoyed the pedicure.
Well, one, look, I got to lose a lot of weight. It is difficult for me to bend down sometimes and properly clip my toenails. If I'm being fully transparent about what's going on down there. She did that part. I would say this, though. It cost a little bit more than anticipated. I got hit with a $15 additional fee for my feet being rougher than expected.
No, you did not.
I did.
She's a friend of your girlfriend's, and she charged you extra for nasty ass feet?
She's not a friend. It's a business. And her deal is if she has to pull out extra tools, it costs extra money. So it was $15 extra because my feet were so rough and calloused at the bottom. But they're great now, so I shouldn't need that the next time.
All right, there you go. Good job with the petties. You didn't get a manicure, did you?
No, but I would consider it after that experience.
Okay.
Is that going? Is that crossing the line? Did I cross the line?
I do. You got to do you, man. I'm not going to judge. What else you got?
Happy birthday. Born on this day, 1882. I feel like you know more about her than I do. Virginia Woolf. Great name.
Author. Yeah.
Yeah.
A great author. Absolutely.
Also on this day, 1986, Lady Gaga. And then 1955, Old Faithful. She sang the national anthem at the Super Bowl 2 years ago. One Reba freaking McEntire.
And by the way, you can check out, this is a free read. You can check out the Lady Gaga channel, and she's got a new album coming out.
She rules.
I did a read for it the other day. It's somewhere in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 range.
You know what? I've been thinking if there was a current artist that played the Sphere in Vegas that I would spend a lot of money on, I think Lady Gaga might be top of the list.
Yeah, she's great. Isaiah Ramirez, thank you. Ryan Smith, thank you. Give us a subscription over at VSiN Live on YouTube. Big guy, have a great weekend. We'll see you.
This is VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio.
All right, boys, thank you.